Nothing beats a jet too hot, darling. Hold my hand. Anyway,
Why? Why do we get hit by that?
I don't know.
Why? You're just in the mood for it?
I am. I'm in the mood for a Jet 2 holiday right now. Honestly, we could all use a Jet 2 holiday.
Yeah. I could.
That's not at all what we're here to talk about today, though. But I feel like the Fantastic Four, they probably need a Jet 2 holiday as well after the secret ending. Doctor Doom with their child. You know, that's not what you want.
They need help.
They do.
Doctor Doom.
So I saw the movie this past weekend. Yeah, I just saw it Saturday. Like, literally, I just saw the movie Saturday. I had a very busy week. I went to the Weeknd concert on Thursday, and that was amazing. You know, the Weeknd, he performs in stadiums, so, like, literally as big as it can get, right?
In the weekends, he's the best.
He's a very, very good musician.
Legitimately one of my favorite artists, period.
Yeah, his music is really good. What I didn't know, I was always curious, is how well he could actually sing live.
Oh, yeah.
And he did some a cappella stuff on purpose just to let you know that the microphone was on and that it was his voice that you're hearing in that very moment. So like all the music stopped at one point. It was only like 20 minutes into the concert. Like he came out 20 minutes and he comes out with a Dr. Doom mask on, and I'm not exaggerating. Like literally his mask was like silver, like actual silver, and the eyes were glowing this bright blue color. And like he had on a cloak, but it was black instead of green. And he comes out with like a bunch of basically like servants. They look like they're servants of him. They're all wearing red robes, and they all have on masks as well, but not as elaborate as his. And he's wearing all black. So they come out. They're all women. They come out. They're in these robes. You can tell that all of them are women. And he's like directing a choir, but it's really like a cult type vibe to it. And he's singing. Yeah. And at first I was like, man, he sounds amazing. And then 20 minutes in, like no music is playing. And he just starts like, he starts speaking to the crowd, but then he says like, Philadelphia, I love to be here. Like, this is one of my favorite cities, blah, blah, blah. You know, typical pandering to whatever city you're in type thing. And then he just starts singing notes with no music. And I was like, oh, he can like really sing. Like,
he can sing.
He sounds
There's some
amazing.
There's some artists out there to let you know that they can sing. It took a while for people to realize T-Pain is insane.
Oh yeah. He won the Masked Singer. Do you know that randomly?
Yeah.
He randomly won the Masked Singer.
He's the man. I don't know if people have heard him sing like without autotune. He's incredible. The only reason why he used autotune, I guess, was just at the time nobody was doing it. It made him different. And
it worked. I mean, we all know T-Pain for autotune, and we also know Jay-Z for death of autotune, but yeah.
But T-Pain's great. The Weeknd, though, is just in terms of like songwriting, I don't know how much of it he writes personally and how much of it is writers.
I don't know.
I just know the songwriting on the songs that he is on, and the musicality, the beats, the instrumentals, the music, just the singing, the vocals are all so fucking good. I was listening to I forget the name of the album, but it's the album after Dawn FM.
Okay,
I've been listening to that a lot.
Exactly what you're talking about.
There's a lot of songs on there that I fucking super fuck with. There's a song called "Cry for Me" on there that is so goddamn hard. I love that song.
Yeah, the Weeknd makes great music. I forgot that you also were a Weeknd fan, but yeah, he's really good.
I'm a super Weeknd fan. He's super good. Like he's an R&B singer, but he feels so much more.
Well, he's a pop star now. Like he's
I guess he's
a pop star now. He sings R&B, but then his biggest hits would be classified as pop at this point, like Blinding Lights.
I agree.
All that stuff, like a lot of his songs, I can't feel my face when I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like all of those hits that he has, they're pop songs, and everyone at the concert was white, by the way. Like everyone at that stadium, me and my friend who were there, we were like, yo, The Weeknd brings out
What's his favorite color?
Listen, all he dates is white women. And Selena Gomez. I guess she's Latino, but yeah, he does.
I more so just meant the fact that he loves coke.
He also loves cocaine and singing about cocaine. Even the song "I Can't Feel My Face." People, it's funny when like kids are singing that song because it's so catchy. But I'm like, bro, he's singing about literally.
In the album after that one, I forget what song it is, but he has a bar where he says like, I just want to fucking like. He won like the Kids' Choice Award.
Oh no!
Like he won that song. "I Can't Feel My Face" won a Kids' Choice Award like on Nickelodeon. He was like, I'm fucking. He said like I'm nominated. I just want a Kids' Choice Award singing about my face numbing off a bag of blow or something. Like
just crazy.
Just fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, I really like the art. He's a really good artist. When he first came out, I didn't really care for him because I thought that he was just another Michael Jackson clone, basically. Like,
so wanna be.
Yeah, just like, because, if you go to Vegas, and you've been to Vegas multiple times now, you will, and actually you can see these in Philly too, but in Vegas, they have a lot of them, impersonators. When I first saw The Weeknd, this is over 10 years ago now, it was a video of him singing outside in Toronto, Canada, and obviously he sounds exactly like Michael Jackson when he's singing. Like, I mean, literally impersonator level singing. And I was like, he's really good. Don't get me wrong. I was like, he sounds fucking fantastic. But I was like, yeah, it's just Michael Jackson. So I didn't take him seriously. And then when he found his own dark lane, and I love dystopian, I love dark, and he's very dark. Like, his subject matter, Dawn FM is about him dying. Like, literally, the album cover is him like as an old man, but the entire thing is like Jim Carrey, who's one of my favorite comedians. Jim Carrey,
narration.
Jim Carrey, Phantom Regret, the last song that all rhymes together is one of my favorite songs ever. I just listened to it twice yesterday, and I was like, bro, I want to write something like this myself, because Jim Carrey cooked Phantom Regret. If you never heard what I'm talking about, just real quick, go listen on YouTube. Go type in Phantom Regret by Jim Carrey. It's on the Weeknd's album. It's the last song on Dawn FM, my favorite Weeknd album. That fucking song, or poem, I guess it is, that poem is so captivating to me, and it's so dark. It's literally talking about when you die while your soul can't move on, and this is where you're stuck in purgatory. And I don't want to do it any injustice, so I'm not even going to try to like quote it at all.
The context of that whole album is just so good. Like, he's a really good just music artist, the whole package. So yeah, I wasn't on him. Like, I wasn't like a day zero indie Weeknd fan. Not that I didn't like him, I just didn't even know who he was. Like, I know some people are like, oh, I was his fan since House of Balloons or whatever.
Yeah, no,
I listened to that after, and it's good. But I think, I don't remember when I got on, but whenever I got on, I was like, oh, this guy, he's legit.
I think I'm also one of those people that I do not care about the gatekeeping thing of an artist when they get really big, and you're like, oh, I was there before they got really big. I'm not into that. We had a whole episode about gatekeeping. I'm just not into that culture in general when it comes to stuff like this. Mm-hmm. So there's certain things that I don't mind gatekeeping, but artists, I think, if you really love the artist, you should want them to grow. And that's just what I'm going to say on that.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I saw The Weeknd Thursday, and then Saturday I went to go see the Fantastic Four. I also have a funny and amazing story to tell, but that'll be on probably the next podcast, where I ran into someone who was cheating on their boyfriend with me. And,
oh no.
And like, I was at brunch before the Fantastic Four movie with my friend who I went to the concert with. And while I'm sitting there, first I see a guy walking. I'm like, man, this guy looks really familiar. And I'm staring at him. He doesn't notice me because he's talking to the waitress or whatever, like the person that seats you, the custodian when you first walk in the restaurant. And I'm seated, and I'm looking over, and I'm like, he looks so familiar. He looks like somebody I know, but I don't really know him, but I know of him. And then the guy that I have been with for like a while and has been cheating on his boyfriend with me walks in, like literally like 2 full minutes after. I guess he was parking the car or something. When I tell you the craziest shit, so I'll tell that story, the full thing.
Dang,
I'll tell that story. Yeah. When I tell y'all,
what the hell?
So interesting how life works. Because anyway, then I saw the Fantastic Four after brunch, and I actually liked it. I want to give that the movie. Yeah. I actually enjoyed the movie.
So I saw it, I think, I want to say Monday. Whenever I texted you, whatever day it was.
You were just you were just such a Philadelphian. I saw it. Like SAWL. I saw it. He said I saw it. Like, did y'all rewind it if you don't know what I'm talking about?
Just I was so confused.
Press
I was
that
like,
15-second button.
I was like, I don't even know what he's when you said you were so Philadelphia. I'm going through my mind trying to figure out, like, why? Because I saw it on a Monday. Like, I don't understand. Like, I was so confused. I didn't know what you were saying.
You put an L at the end of Saw. You're like, I saw it. Yeah. That's such a Philly accent thing. I saw it. You literally say it, and you just say it so like normal.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how to talk.
I'm so sorry.
But anyway, no, it's all good. But I synced it. That's a different one. I watched the movie on Monday, I believe. And what's cool is that this was requested. Somebody was like, hey, I think it was Dom. He was like, you guys should do Fantastic Four. And then Frazier was like, I'm going to go see it this weekend. But Kenny will see it in 2 months when he can see it.
That's exactly what I said.
Which is accurate. Yeah. That is not incorrect. However, a situation had lined up where I was with a bunch of family.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I went to go see the Fantastic... Actually, I think it was a Sunday. I went to go see Fantastic Four with, like, a bunch of people. Right. It was all family. We were, like, 5 people there, though. and I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. It is probably the best. Not even probably. I think it's the best Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, that is without a question to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best one. Like, I like the original too, just because I like Jessica Alba. And
I like the original of a lot of things that we grew up with, because they had the "we were children" thing, so the nostalgia of it all is still there. You know what I mean?
100%. But I think this movie is better. I was excited going into it. I haven't seen a Marvel movie in a while. OGs of the podcast know we reviewed a whole bunch of Marvel shit.
We have,
and then we just got Marvel fatigue, I guess.
Yep.
And
there's probably over 20 podcast episodes that are on Marvel stuff.
Yeah. And then we just got fatigued, and I wasn't too interested in some of the stuff that was happening. And so I haven't watched any Marvel stuff in a while. I still want to watch Loki season 2. I heard it's great.
Same. Haven't seen it. Okay, you wanted to.
I was just gonna say, but this movie, for whatever reason, I don't know. I was excited for it. I was like, man, for whatever reason, I'm kind of jived to see Fantastic Four.
Weirdly, right? Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care for the Fantastic Four, if I'm being completely honest.
Bro,
I'm not like a big fan.
Yeah, so I like them.
Me too.
I'm a fan of them, but I'm not like a super duper nerd.
Right.
But I got super into following certain stuff and certain storylines. For the Maker storyline, I don't know if you know about that.
No, I don't.
But like, the Maker is so sick. Real quick aside, I guess I'll try to make it as quick as I can. But in one of the alternate Marvel universes, so it's called the Ultimate Marvel. It's just like a different universe.
I have heard of Ultimate Marvel. I have heard of that.
Yeah. So so it's all of the Marvel characters, but their backstories and stuff are a little bit different, and things play out a bit differently. So the Fantastic Four in that, they're just like the Fantastic Four, right? And things happen, whatever, and you know, they're heroes, etc. The story progresses, and there's like these little things that happen throughout the story to read, and essentially to like super fast forward. Eventually, like, the world gets invaded by all this crazy shit, and there's all this stuff happening. Reed Richards, if I remember correctly, is thought to be dead at this time. He like died to something. I don't remember what. He's thought to be dead. It gets revealed he's controlling the things that are attacking, and it's this big complicated thing, but he becomes the super villain of Marvel.
Wow.
He's called the Maker. For people who don't know anything about Marvel, most people know that Reed Richards is considered the smartest, or one of the smartest characters in the entire universe. He's
definitely one of the highest intellects in all of Marvel.
And he's a good guy. But he becomes a bad guy, and he becomes a bad guy. He's called the Maker, and he's trying to like remake the universe and like make it perfect or whatever, something like that.
I can see that happening.
And he's just trying to like fix everything and doing it in the most crazy way. But he's so insanely intelligent that like the Avengers, everybody's trying to do whatever they can to stop him, and like they just can't. And it kind of, there's all this crazy big shit that happens. He ends up coming into the real Marvel universe and becomes like a multi-dimensional universe, multi-universe fucking threat. Like, his original universe gets wiped out. Miles Morales is from that universe, and the only survivors, I think, are like the Maker and Miles. And he does all this other shit. He fucking goes into some other timeline, and he stops Peter Parker from ever becoming Spider-Man, because he deduces that like Spider-Man is the heart of all the superheroes, and like he's like he determines that like he's like the heart. Like this kid like means so much to everybody. Yeah, dude, he doesn't kill Spider-Man. He just
prevents it.
Stops him from ever becoming Spider-Man. Yeah. And so like Peter Parker just exists, and his life just sucks. And then one day he finds out the reason why his life sucks is because it's so sick. It's so dope. I love the Maker. It's a crazy fucking storyline. That's not what we're here to talk about, but
I love that. Reed Richards. I'm so interested in what you were just saying. I want them to make a movie out of it, actually.
They fucking should. It's so fucking enthralling.
I also heard
it's really good.
My friend Garen Williams, he's really funny. He's also been a contributor to our Patreon for years and the podcast, stuff like that. Big friend of ours. Garen told me like years ago. So first of all, Garen is a huge Dr. Doom fan. And he's been blocked on Facebook multiple times. And usually when he gets blocked on Facebook or banned on Facebook, when he gets banned on Facebook, not blocked, when he gets banned on Facebook for saying something, whatever, like he just speaks his mind and he says things. He just says what he wants. When he gets banned on Facebook, he'll make another profile and just call it like Doombot. And that one got banned. And then he was like Doombot 2, Doombot 3. And they're all different pictures of Doom. And like, so it's really funny, that whole thing. And then when they all get unbanned, he'll just like start flipping between the accounts. And you'll get jumped on a post by multiple Doom. Like back in the day when Facebook was like really that girl, you would get jumped by multiple Doom bots like on Facebook or whatever. Anyway, he loves Dr. Doom. I didn't know how ridiculous Dr. Doom was I might have brought this up before. I don't think I did. There was a Facebook test. Remember the period of Facebook where there would be like, which villain are you? Or which hero are you? Or which Naruto character are you? Well, there was one that was like, which Marvel character or villain are you? I don't know if it was character or villain. Anyway, I put in my information, I took the test, and I got Dr. Doom. And I was kind of bummed out. So when I shared my results,
oh shit.
Right. So this is you see where this is going. I was bummed out. I was like, oh man, like I shared it and I was like, it kind of sucks. Like I got Dr. Doom. And then Garen and like other people commented, was like, well, that's broken. And I was like, is it? Because I grew up watching the Fantastic Four cartoon. So
like cartoons where it's just some bullshit.
Yeah, like Doctor Doom is the villain a lot of the time, but it's never, and it's always a clone of him. He never seemed as menacing as the comic book version of him. So I always thought that he was kind of like a pushover a little bit, or not that deep. And then you come to find out under that Facebook post where I was kind of whinging about the whole thing, people were like, that character is not okay, and he has some of the most ridiculous feats. Because I was like, I wanted like Thanos or something like that, or I said I wanted somebody else. I was like, yeah, but you got like this person. They were like, he OD'd on Thanos, and they like posted pictures of like Thanos confronting Doom as like, with my Infinity Glove, I could destroy you so easily. And Doom was like, do you have an Infinity Glove now? And then in the next panel, it's Doom holding Thanos' spine and his head still attached. And he's like, it seems that is untrue. And it's like, and you just see Thanos, his body disintegrating. It's one of the most iconic panels in comic book history. Dr. Doom holding the head and spinal cord of Thanos and asking him, do you have an Infinity Gauntlet now? And like, it is, I love it. It's such a good panel. There's another one where Dr. Doom is talking to like one of his heralds, I believe, and he's a god at this point. And he's like, I was a god once, Valeria. And she was like, and what did you think of it? And he was like, it was beneath me. I fucking, they started posting these panels under that thing where I was kind of sad that I got Dr. Doom, and every panel I was like, yo, I love this character so much in the comic. He gave me Aizen vibes. You know, I love a Aizen, I love a Madara. I love that type of character, like a Sung Jin Woo, just like super OD broken ass character that talks his shit and backs it up, and I really like that. I'll give one more example. The other story about Dr. Doom, and obviously I'm summarizing these. I'm forgetting the word to use. Paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing, so I might be getting some of the facts a little bit wrong or whatever. But the one I remember that really got me was Dr. Doom, like, had a mentor that, it was like a story of Dr. Doom goes back in time and becomes like a child or some shit, and gets trained by this guy who's like insane at the mystic arts and like magic and all this other stuff. He trains this orphan child that he finds, and makes him like really powerful, and like basically makes him as a successor. And then a successor ends up killing him. And before he kills him, he tells him, I'm actually Dr. Doom, like the thing that you've been trying to stop this whole time. I went back in time, got myself basically reborn as this person that you would mentor and train and teach everything to. And then now I'm killing you. And like, thank you for teaching me everything. And that's, Dr. Doom is like a magician. Like, he's a spellcaster. He's a sorcerer. He's one of the most powerful sorcerers in the entire Marvel universe. He's very powerful, and he's done like some crazy shit. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but basically I know the story is that he like goes back and has this guy teach him like everything he knows, and then kills the guy and reveals like, I'm actually like Dr. Doom.
So it reminds me, there's one of the other things that happens with Reed Richards in that universe.
This is the ultimate thing.
Yeah, when he's the Maker. Before he becomes the Maker, I think one of the things is like he ends up connecting with, there's like this intelligence society that is like multiple Reed Richards from different dimensions that all work together to solve problems.
Yeah.
And because of how smart they are, they can only rely on each other. And until he like finds them, and then he starts like working with them. And then I forget exactly what happens. I want to say he ends up killing like all of them because of reasons. But the real thing is, one of the other things that ends up happening is he like completely takes control of a universe. And once again, I'm also paraphrasing. I don't remember everything exactly, but he like takes control of a universe. And in this universe, the guy who becomes Dr. Doom hasn't become Dr. Doom yet, if I remember correctly, but he has that person, and he's just torturing him.
Oh shit.
For like no. It's even crazier now that I remember. So I think he kills, if I remember correctly, he kills the person who's going to become Doctor Doom, because obviously Reed Richards and Doctor Doom are like eternal enemies, rivals, whatever. So in that universe, he ends up killing Doctor Doom before he becomes Doctor Doom. But then there's a person that he just tortures over and over and over again. And it's Doctor Doom as far as you can tell. If I remember correctly, it's just like Doctor Doom, he's torturing them. And it's like, oh my, and it's like brutal shit that he's torturing them. And then like at some point there's a reveal. He takes off like the mask, and it's like the main universe Reed Richards. It's like the original Reed Richards. And he's like tortured him for like 10 years. And he like takes the mask off, and he like says like, what is your name? And he says, I am Doom. And he like turns the original Reed Richards into Doctor Doom and like tortures him into becoming it in order to give himself another rival or something like that. He's fucking crazy. It is insane.
Oh man. There's like one more thing that I vaguely remember about Doctor Doom that I want to say. I just love basically like Doctor Doom lore. One of the other ones that I heard was that, well, one, he conquered Earth multiple times. So he's actually won. Like he's won the universe more than once. Like Doctor Doom has in fact conquered everything. And like one time I think he just like gave it back because there was nothing to do. Like he got essentially bored because he literally like, I conquered the universe. I am the most powerful thing. No one could ever oppose me. I'm now going to give it back because there's nothing for me to do anymore.
I think there's one where it's called like, I think the entire universe gets remade, and he's like the God Emperor Doom, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I heard that name before.
The world, it's called Doom World. Like it's called Doom World, and he's God Emperor Doom. He like runs everything.
Yeah,
he's done a bunch of shit.
The one that I was going to say is, I forget how it goes, but essentially it's revealed. Again, paraphrasing, might not be remembering the facts exactly right. It's revealed that Doctor Doom is actually the hero in all of these fights that he's been having with the Fantastic Four, and that if he gets control of the world, it is the only timeline where the world will survive an apocalyptic event. So every time the Fantastic Four has thwarted him from accomplishing his goals, they have put the Earth and that verse on a apocalyptic path. And where Doctor Doom actually wins is the only way that the verse will survive. Is like it needs to be under Doctor Doom's control, which is so crazy. So it basically reframes it as the Fantastic Four are villains.
Yeah.
Because Doctor Doom is the only way to save everything. And I was like, bro, the writers at Marvel, like, I know we always talk about how insane, like, Oda and, like, Akira Toriyama, there's, like, Tite Kubo, you know, there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of amazing writers out there for manga and in the Japanese culture and everything like that. But there are some really good ones also in American comics. And some of these Doctor Doom stories make me realize, like, God damn, I one day do want to like read comics.
There are great comic book stories. The main problem with them is just DC has been around since the 30s and Marvel's been around since I don't remember when, but it's a lot newer than DC, but still fucking ancient. The problem that ends up happening with a lot of comics is that there's different writers that take over at different times.
Yeah.
So you might be like, I love Batman, but then like Batman gets a new writer and all of a sudden Batman sucks. And you're like, what the fuck? Because like the writer gets to just kind of do whatever they want. And sometimes they're adhere to the lore and do certain, but then sometimes the writer is kind of like, they want to make their own mark and do their own thing.
Yep.
And so they kind of mix things up in a way. And you're like, and it just ends up being really bad. And so there's a lot of really big ups and downs, I feel like, with comic book characters because the writers change. Whereas like One Piece is always Oda.
You know what's interesting?
It's not written by like fucking Tite Kubo one week and Kishimoto the next week.
Right. And this is what I want to say too. I just noticed this. Like, I guess I've always known it, but now I'm really thinking about it. In America, with American comics, you do get the same exact like story essentially, or the same exact character like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, written by several, now in 2025, several different writers across history. And you don't have people in Japan, at least as far as I know, like rewriting Dragon Ball from the beginning and making Goku how they want to make Goku, making Vegeta how they want to make Vegeta, making Piccolo how they want to make Piccolo, and just completely saying, we're going to take the Dragon Ball franchise, like that verse, that world, and we're just going to like completely change the story how we want it to be. You don't have that where people just take like Naruto and they're just going to make like Sasuke the main character or whatever, or Naruto actually has his parents survived. So now we're going to write the story from that perspective, but it's not Kishimoto. It's some other guy who's, you know, he could be a great writer too, but he just like takes someone else's work and just completely rewrites it to be whatever he wants it to be. And now you have people arguing about, oh, well, actually, in Naruto does scale to Goku because when this writer did it in this verse, because this is what happens when I see people arguing anything Japanese anime or Japanese manga against American comics, it'll be like, oh, like Goku beats like all these, like beats Superman or whatever. And then people will be like, well, no, actually, this Superman right here zero diffs Goku in the entire Dragon Ball universe because this Goku, I mean, this Superman does like, he does this, and this, and this. And it's like, okay, but there's only one Goku though.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that always annoyed me too, is that every single comic book character, no matter how normal, like literally comic book characters that just like beat up thugs on the street. Like that's their whole story.
Eventually,
every one of them has a writer that makes them god of the universe at some point.
Yes, like
it's like what?
Like Batman with the Mobius chair.
Yeah,
will spite everybody in anime. Like Batman with the Mobius chair is like, oh, okay, so you're just like a reality warping like god of all things. Like, you know what I mean? Like like you said, literally there's a Spider-Man.
They can't stop like a guy on a train.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wait, what?
I really never liked the whole thing. I think that's kind of the reason why I get discouraged from American comics. Because when I think about it, if somebody said, start One Piece, there's one fucking One Piece story. There's just one.
Yeah, as long as that is, there's one way to go. There's chapter 1, and then you just go.
And
to
we're
2,
all talking
3,
about
4.
the same Luffy and the same Shanks and the same Blackbeard and Whitebeard. We're not talking about Whitebeard Ultimate. We're not talking about Whitebeard from Earth 828. We're just talking about Whitebeard. But when you talk about Reed Spider-Man, what does that mean? Because there's literally 50 different versions, and probably no exaggeration either, 50 different types of Spider-Man that
probably
I can read.
An underestimate.
Honestly. So it's like, that discourages me from even starting because I don't even know, like, am I supposed to start from the 1930s Spider-Man? Like, what am I, like, where do I begin?
My suggestion for anybody that wants to read comics is you just jump the fence. You don't worry about all the lore and continuity. You'll pick it up over time. Just read the storylines that you want to read. Like, hey, this storyline's cool. I'm going to read the storyline. Yeah. For example, Batman, when they redid and they did like the New 52 or whatever, there's a storyline called Death of the Family.
Yep, very popular.
That storyline is so fucking good. There's this iconic image of Joker's skin, the skin of Joker's face, like hanging on the wall in the police department. Joker gets away or whatever. Nobody can find him, and literally the skin on his face is gone. So he could be anywhere, right? And the skin on his face is in the police department. And then there's another Batman storyline that happens, and at the end of that storyline, it randomly shows like the police department, and it shows like in shadows like a person going through the police department, and it shows like where the skin was on the wall, and then like the skin's gone. And then the next time when you see the Joker, he has the skin on his face again, but he has it like strapped on, like it's not like
like a mask
grafted back on. Yeah, he has it like strapped to his head like a mask.
Leatherface,
so like, dude. And then as the storyline progresses, the skin starts to get like yellowed and like
decomposed,
more just like
nasty.
Decomposed.
It's
nasty
it's
looking.
Fucking skin that's not attached to a living organ anymore. So now it's just decaying.
It's dope. So yeah, I mean, with comic book storylines, you got to just find like a good storyline. Like, oh, this one seems cool. I'm gonna read this. Like the original like comic book version of Civil War, like Marvel Civil War, is incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Like a lot of men, a lot of boys, a lot of men like to just argue, you know, anime characters versus anime characters, universes versus universes. And when we do that with anime and with manga, it's very easy because you are just comparing this character. When I say this name, when I say Naruto, you know exactly who Naruto is. And you can even go up to Boruto. Like, I know about Baryon mode. Like, I understand it's the mode that he can go to one time and he loses his powers after that, and he can't ever use the QB anymore after he does it. But like,
so it's like Dangai Ichigo, which means that eventually he'll get his powers back.
Right. Well, yes.
Because that was the whole Dangai Ichigo thing. Like, he did the final Bankai. Yeah. He loses his powers forever. Oh, wait. No, actually, I have all of the powers.
Yeah, actually, I do have literally all the powers by the end of the spoilers from Bleach. We just spoiled the fucking thing. We just casually spoiled all of Bleach. I have all the powers. It's actually just the fucking ending of Bleach. I have all the powers. It's so ridiculous because he really does, though. Actually, I have all the powers. As fucking childlike as that sounds so childish, but it really is. It's like your little brother and you get into an argument, and at the end of it, your little brother just goes. He just goes. You know how kids argue. At the end of it, they just get frustrated. So your little brother just goes, I have all the powers now, and you can't beat me. And like that's just what it is. That's just
you guys are playing guns. No, that one didn't shoot me.
Right.
That one didn't shoot me. I have a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
That like it just doesn't work. I have all the powers. And like literally
I have the power now. If I touch you, you die. If
Yep.
I touch you, you die.
Yeah. Yep. And they just get really frustrated because you're an adult and you're just better at arguing than them. So they just say at the end of it, like, I have all the powers. And that's Bleach. But no, like I do like when we were younger and we were teenagers, you could have conversations about not Dragon Ball characters, I always exclude them, but you could have a conversation about Naruto characters versus like Yu Yu Hakusho characters or whatever. And you could be like tuning exam Neji versus like Yusuke from the Dark Tournament, like who wins, like stuff like that. And these could be actual conversations that you could power scale these characters and say like what you think about their speed and their power. And we know we're talking about the same Neji and the same Yusuke Urameshi. No matter how we slice it, there's no other Neji and there's no other Yusuke. These are one of one characters. But again, not to keep on hitting on this note, but if I wanted to compare Batman, like Kenny said, there's a Batman that is all powerful and all knowing.
There's a Batman for everything. Yeah. It's like, I feel like, especially when we were younger, when we were growing up, right? If you were to do Goku versus Superman, at that time, I wasn't reading manga yet, right? And I wasn't reading comic books. I feel like most people were comparing the anime, the cartoon of Dragon Ball Z and the cartoon of Superman. You know what I mean? Like they're comparing the Superman that you saw on TV and the Goku you saw on TV. Not like the Superman that was in a comic book from 1948 where like in this one comic book he got a power boost and he did something and then
the one that lived in the sun for like literally lived inside
and
the
shows
sun.
up for one chapter and everybody's like, yeah, but this one. It's like he's in one chapter.
Yeah.
I think he's in one page.
Yeah, Superman 1 billion or whatever. I don't know. It's always been a thing that kind of kept me from getting into it. But anyway, we're here to talk about Fantastic Four.
So
I know
on
we've
that
been
note,
all over the place.
To go back to Doctor Doom, I thought it was so cool. Super early on in the movie. So I'm gonna jump a little bit ahead and then go back. But there's a part where they show. We're already all over the place. There's a part where they show, I think it's like Sue Storm, and she's like given like a conference, and she like makes peace with the Mole Man.
Yep.
And then there's a part where they're doing a conference, and they're showing all of these leaders of all of these nations.
Yeah.
And then it says Latveria, and the seat's empty. And for anybody, I'm sure anybody listening to this knows, but Latveria is the nation that Doctor Doom controls. So they show Latveria and it's an empty seat. And so that's like in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And I got hyped. I was like, oh shit.
I also like,
that's fucking Dr. Doom right there.
I also like two other things about the opening. One, this is not an origin story for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
They assume that this is why I think this movie's good. They assume by now we've done this these astronauts go up into space, they get some weird shit happening, and then they come back and they're all molecularly modified humans. We get that.
They do it smart because it's like they tell the origin story in a really smart way. They're just like, here it is real quick, because this is technically the first time you're seeing Fantastic Four in this universe.
Iteration, yes.
So they do a quick, like, hey, this is what happens. But they tell it in a way where you don't have to deal with the drama of them talking about going to space. And like, it takes up all the and then the fucking movie's 4 years after the start.
Yep. Which I love. So I love I love any reboot where they understand, okay, how many times do we have to show you Superman or Batman's parents being murdered or Spider-Man's Uncle Ben being murdered? We get it. Like, you get it.
Yeah.
I even love, God, I know we're tangents, but I love the podcast for this reason because our brains can just go. One of the things that makes Spider-Man No Way Home one of the absolute best.
I knew this is where you were going.
Oh, you did.
So good.
One of the reasons why I think it's one of the absolute best Marvel movies, Sony movies, whatever, why it's one of the best superhero movies of all time. It's literally in my top 3. One of the reasons why that specific movie is one of the best is because, one, I wasn't expecting what happened, but the way his aunt dies and the way that is the catalyst and it's basically the end of the prologue of him becoming Spider-Man was so fucking brilliant. Like, the origin story for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, instead of it being Uncle Ben and Uncle Ben dies, but he like let the killer go earlier, and then that guy ends up killing his uncle, and then instead of having that whole thing, he like trusts the villains, right? He has them all in his house at one point, and his fucking aunt is serving them like cookies and tea and shit. He thinks he could do good by them and send them back to their universes, and like they're not all bad, and his trust ends up getting his aunt killed. So in a different way, he is responsible in a way for what happened to his aunt, and she ends up dying. She's his Uncle Ben. It blew my mind when I realized that, like, oh, we're watching the origin story. Do these 3 opening movies, because it's a trilogy, but the last one is really the one that, like, he makes his Spider-Man costume at the end of that movie. Like, he makes, in the last scene of No Way Home is him opening the window, and it's like people ice skating outside. He jumps out the window in his homemade, takes off the Tony Stark gear, because everyone, including me, was like, okay, I get that this is Spider-Man technically, but he's fucking wearing an Iron Man suit, bro. Like, it's not Spider-Man. Like, he's wearing an Iron Man suit. I love the fact that at the very end, he goes to college and he fucking makes his actual Spider-Man costume, just a regular spandex costume, and he jumps out the window, he starts web slinging, and it ends, and you realize, oh wow, this was the prologue. It's a great way to just reframe an origin story without having to do the same shit. Oh, I don't want to see Martha and Thomas Wayne get gunned down in the alley after a movie again. I never want to see it again. I never want to see it again.
It's so good the way they did Tom Holland Spider-Man, because so much happened in that universe. He went through so much, but at the end of the day, he was still a kid in high school.
Yes.
And Spider-Man has a long career after him being in high school Spider-Man. So it's so cool because that does essentially just is the prologue, the formative years of Spider-Man. And then he finally, and then the whole unit, like, nobody remembers who he is. Like, he is forgotten.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking,
that is also amazing.
Like, and he steps out into the world as just like being by himself again. So I'm super excited. I know recently they've revealed like that next movie's being made.
Oh,
like,
the next movie apparently is done.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I saw like the teaser of Tom Holland walking in with the Spider-Man suit on. So like that next movie's coming.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to see that.
They're dropping like teaser trailers and everything. There's like an 8-second thing with the suit being revealed. Like that shit's done. So we're getting that movie most likely next year. But I know that they have to line it up with everything else that's going on with all the other Marvel, Sony stuff. So yeah, this is not an origin story for the Fantastic Four. By now, they assume that you understand how the Fantastic Four operates, how they started. You understand who their villains are. So when you see a guy in a green cape, you're not wondering. When you see Latveria, you're not wondering. Certain things they just say, you know this already, which I love, because this is like the 4th version of this story. In the first 10 minutes, going back to the other thing I like, so I said there were 2 things. One of them was this is not like a typical intro, they go into space thing. The other thing I like is that they show Sue taking a pregnancy test in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And she comes out and she's super happy, and Reed is just looking for stuff. And then she puts it next to him. He's like, we've been trying for 2 years. And she's like, yeah. And it finally happened or whatever. They make a little joke. They're super happy. They come down to dinner to eat with her brother and the thing. And they're like, why are you acting so weird? And the thing, and he's like, you're pregnant. And she's like, I'm pregnant. And it's a celebratory moment. It's very warm. And immediately you realize that these 4 are a family. You get like this the way they set dinner up, in the way it's like it's time for dinner. There are certain small things that you can do to kind of give characters development without needing to show a whole bunch of them together.
Yeah. I mean, the one of them says like, "Oh, they're never late for Sunday dinner" or something like that. Like, they're late for Sunday dinner, and like that immediately. There's a Sunday dinner. Every Sunday they do blah blah blah. Like, there's so many little things that are just put in place that boom, these people are a family, and it feels that way very quickly.
Yes. So I love how they introduced them, and this is all in the first 10 minutes. But the pregnancy thing, I was like, wait a second. Because I don't think that this has been explored in the other Fantastic Fours. But I was like, isn't her son? Isn't Reed Richards and Sue Storm's son one of the most powerful beings in all of Marvel? Like, actually, like, isn't Franklin Richards? So I pulled out my phone and I just Googled Franklin Richards, and it was like, Franklin Richards is one of the most powerful characters in all of Marvel. And I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. So I got so excited immediately when I realized, oh shit, they're about to bring Franklin Richards into the MCU. Like, that's so cool, because I've been hearing about this character. Again, I don't read comics, but I've been hearing a lot about this character. Like, he's a character that, if you know anything about Marvel, he's just ridiculous. Like, reality warping, OD powerful character. So
it's so weird. This movie has made me excited for the MCU again. Like, I don't know how the other movies have been. I'll probably go back and check some of them out just because, like, I want to see them, because this movie, once again, we're jumping all over the place. Hopefully you've seen this movie, but to jump all the way to the end real quick, the fucking, at the very beginning, there's Latveria. I'm assuming, I don't know this for sure, I'm assuming the Doctor Doom that is going to be the main villain of Avengers Doomsday, I'm assuming that's the Doctor Doom from this universe, Earth 828, I think it is. Or is it 82? I think it's 828.
It's 828.
But I'm assuming it's that one, because, like,
birthday.
yeah, because Latveria was empty. Like, they made it clear that Doctor Doom exists in this universe.
Yep.
Then at the end of the movie, Doctor Doom is in their fucking house.
Yep.
And like talking to Franklin Richards, Sue's baby. So I'm assuming Tony Stark, like the Tony Stark of this universe, is Doctor Doom. I don't know if his name's going to be Tony Stark or if it's going to be something else, but everybody knows that Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. But anyway,
can I speak to that real quick? Sorry, hold your thought. Hold that thought. You want to see? Hold that thought. I actually really despise what you just said so much because this is a product of the world we live in. You know that Doctor Doom is Robert Downey Jr. And you know that everyone knows that. I know that. Yeah. You know that, and everyone listening to this knows that he is Doctor Doom. I actually hate that that's a thing. I think that it would be so much better and more insane of a reveal if when we finally get to Doomsday and they finally
if it was a comic book, this is how it would be,
bro,
or a manga, whatever,
a comic book, anything, bro. When they would unmask him in the last 30 minutes and it's fucking Robert Downey Jr.'s face, the movie theater, the internet would break. It would be like, whoa, what the fuck? Bro, like the reveal, everybody talking about you gotta see it. The reveal is crazy. It's off the charts. It's the most insane thing. You're not ready. I promise you're not ready. It would be such a hype fucking moment, bro.
You know what the problem is? Because it could have been that way. Because that's what happened with the Spider-Man movie. Now, granted, everybody felt like they knew the other Spider-Men were in it. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But there was no actual proof.
No, there wasn't.
It was just we all saw Into the Spider-Verse, and everybody was like, we want to see Into the Spider-Verse in real life.
Yes.
And then, like, there was just this collective, like, they're going to do it. We think they're going to do it. But there was no evidence. There was no proof. It wasn't actually confirmed it was going to happen. You thought it was going to happen, and it wasn't. And then they asked Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and Andrew Garfield was like, I'm fucking married. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm not in a movie.
They were like, no one's called me. Like, I've been out of, Tobey Maguire's like, I've been out of work for like 15 years. Like, I have not gotten any call.
Like, no. So when you're in the movies, the whole time you're like, I don't know. And then, they're doing the multiverse. And then, so when it fucking happens, everybody loses their minds. I'll never forget
celebrates. When they first had focus and they started doing a little Doctor Strange thing with the circle to make the portal open. And like, they get like, at first it doesn't really work. And then they open it and you see a fucking Spider-Man like in an alleyway somewhere. The feeling of seeing that Spider-Man in an alleyway and like, it was Andrew Garfield and he turns around. Everybody moved theater fucking lost him. I was like, all right, try to do it again. And then they do it again and they bring out fucking Tobey Maguire who just dresses like a choir director. It's like,
dude, it's so good. So the thing is, Marvel was doing really well at that time.
Yeah.
Because Endgame had just happened, Infinity War just happened.
Yep.
Marvel was doing well. There was still a lot of hype and excitement for what Marvel was going to do next. And so they were able to keep that secret. Going into Avengers Doomsday, Marvel was doing, and that movie's not out yet, but Marvel was doing really bad. It was on a downswing. People weren't reviewing the movies very well. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp 2 or whatever the third one.
Yeah, third one.
There was like a third Ant-Man movie that had Kang the Conqueror in it.
Yep.
That movie bombed. There was a whole bunch, and then the guy that they were setting up the next phase of Marvel would be all about Kang the Conqueror, and then I don't know. He either did or didn't beat his wife. I don't really know what the fuck happened, but something happened, and he got fired. So Kang the Conqueror got kicked out of Marvel, and so they had to like pivot and they had to redo what the story they were building. So the whole thing is, if they weren't doing bad, they would have been able to sit on that reveal, and Tony Stark would have been able to be a reveal. But because they needed to like get people's interest back. Like, how do we get their interest back? Just show them Robert. Get out, Rob. Go out there, Robert.
Honestly,
we need you.
That's exactly what happened too, because they were done. Robert Downey Jr. and the guy who plays Captain America, like all of them, they're all being brought back, and I'm just kind of not happy about that. Like, I know some people might be. I'm actually slightly annoyed that the only way to really, I guess, make these movies good again in their head is to just do what already worked. Like, use the characters that already worked, use the people that already worked, and which is really unfortunate because I think that they're taking a step back in order to kind of get people roped back in.
It's a shame too because whatever was going to happen with Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors, the actor, I don't 100% know that whole story. From what I heard, he might have got a little railroaded, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he didn't.
It definitely gives railroaded. The whole thing got blown out of proportion. And it is a bunch of bullshit, but it's politics. It's Disney at the end of the day. And if you honestly, when it comes to Disney, if you do anything wrong, any kind of perception that's wrong, you do get ousted. That's just kind of how Disney is. It's not really exclusive to him, to be honest. It's just kind of how Disney reacts to anyone who does anything that they consider to be like anti-image, like anti the Disney image.
The thing is too, is that the problem is they were going down a kind of a bad path before you even get there, though.
Exactly.
Like before,
it wasn't just because thing.
Yeah, because the end of Loki, that character, that Kang at the end of Loki, the one at the end of time, or whatever the fuck they called him.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I was so enthralled.
Same.
Like just listening to him talk and act, everything that he was doing, I was edge of my seat enthralled in everything that was happening. It was just awesome.
He sold that finale of it, made the entire series like worth it. It was good throughout, but then that ending where they couldn't really do anything, he was like, "You're going to kill me, and when you do, you're going to," because I'm the only thing stopping the other version of me that is way more vicious and brutal. And he told him exactly what is going to happen. They still end up killing him, and then it opened the door for I was like, "Oh, this is going to be so good," and it really did seem like it was a good setup. And then
but then what happens is, because the setup with Thanos, you see Thanos at the end of the first Avengers, and then it's 10 or 15 years before you finally get a fight with Thanos. Before Thanos loses, at the end of Endgame, you don't see that man lose.
Yeah.
He beats the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
And first of all, you don't see him for years. When you finally get to really see him, he beats the shit out of everybody. In the next movie, after Loki and the fucking Ant-Man movie, you see Kang the Conqueror and he loses.
Yeah, he loses to ants.
And it's just
he gets overpowered by a bunch of ants.
They're super villain. They're setting up. So they were already. So I kind of got off on a tangent. The point I'm making here is that sometimes Marvel has really good writers. And this goes back to I feel like the comic book problem as a whole. The person who was writing on Loki season 1, their pen knew what the fuck it was doing.
Yeah.
And then whoever they let write some of the other stuff was fucking things up. So even before. So they were in a bad spot and they needed Robert Downey Jr. to come save everything.
And that's why
I wish that we didn't know. Yeah, I wish we didn't know Tony Stark was going to be Doctor Doom. But
that would have been one of the craziest reveals in all of hero movie the whole hero movie franchise. That would have been bigger than
Iron Man and Doctor Doom. They're both in metal suits.
They make sense too.
It makes sense for Tony Stark that has a slightly different bad day.
Yes.
Instead of becoming Iron Man, it becomes Doctor Doom. It fucking makes sense.
Bro, I literally thought as soon as the reveal happened, I was like, this actually checks. I could see how, his parents get murdered by Bucky and the whole thing, right? And Civil War happens, right? And Iron Man gets jumped by two grimy New York niggas, and that's the entire Civil War. Bucky and fucking Captain America jump him after they killed his fucking parents. You killed my parents.
Tony, relax. It's
let me kill him, bro. He fucking killed my dad. Let me have him. He's your friend. Let me have him. Let us have a fair one. Let us have as fair as it could be anyway. So I was just the whole Civil War. But let's say in a different universe, same thing happens. But instead of him becoming a good guy, he just decides, fuck everything. I'm evil now. And that actually might be the premise. We might just be writing the fucking story that actually is intended, right?
It's a good twist. It's a good way to bring back Robert Downey Jr. Everybody loves him. I just wish, I wish I didn't know he was Dr. Doom. Because that's the other thing, too. Imagine the fan circulation. Imagine this movie comes out, we get to the end of it, it's Dr. Doom, and then there are people yo, who is Dr. Doom?
Imagine the end of it is they take the mask off and it goes off. You don't see the face.
Yeah.
Imagine
and now everybody's who's the fucking actor? Oh my God.
And there's little things sprinkled throughout the movie that kind of hint at who he is. And so you have a bunch of videos coming out and a bunch of think pieces. And if you get really good writers, Game of Thrones level writers, George R. R. Martin level, if you get really, really good writers, you can sprinkle hints throughout the Avengers Doomsday thing that will kind of give you the answer, but it is hard to have a concrete. It's kind of the Jon Snow's mom and dad is the J plus, I forget what it was. It was Rhaegar plus Lyanna Stark equals Jon Snow. It was like that whole thing, R plus L equals J. That's what it was. If you ever heard the term R plus L equals J, that was the thing that was on the internet circulating for a long time before it was confirmed by the show, because it was never confirmed in the book.
What's crazy is that it's still not confirmed in the books. That was such a fun time to be a nerd in the Game of Thrones thing, because when the show caught up to the books and it was like, okay, no one knows what's happening next.
Right.
And everybody was, and then it was like all the book heads being like, these are all the theories that we have, and this and that.
And it got on the internet, and then it was everywhere. It was on YouTube.
My God,
J plus L or R plus L equals J was so big. There's like Rhaegar plus Lyanna equals Jon Snow. And there's hints sprinkled throughout the books. Like there's hints throughout the book. And I read the books. It's very subtle stuff, but it's there. It's blatantly there. And like, because when I read the books, I already kind of knew. So when I was reading them, I was like, I see it. Like I see this right here is
like a second watch of Attack on Titan.
Exactly. It's like, oh shit. You can see the foretelling, the foreshadowing here, the way they explain certain hair types, eye colors, certain things they explain to you. And then when you start hearing the description of Jon Snow, you're like, okay, so he's a great fighter. Rhaegar is also a great fighter. And that's, that's not enough. But then you add in all these other little things and eventually you get there. So that could have been how they did the reveal for Tony Stark equals Dr. Doom. Like maybe in that verse, because he never becomes Iron Man. But let's say people from the verse where Iron Man is a thing, they come into the Doomsday movie and they're like, where's your Iron Man at? And they're like, who's that? Like we don't have that. And they start explaining him, and then it's like certain little Easter eggs, little drops like that. It's like, so they don't have an Iron Man. They never had an Iron Man, but they have
They do have an Iron Man. Look at Dr. Doom's suit. That's an Iron Man.
Right. And it just be, and at the end of the movie, they unmask him, and like his hood's down. Like they, somehow take the mask, or the mask comes off and it flies away. And then like his hood's down, then he like lifts his head up and the movie just goes off. It would be fucking, or he just like does the thing. There was one movie, I forget, it might have been a Star Wars, but like at the end of it, you hear the voice and it's Palpatine's voice.
Yeah.
And it's, and everyone in Star Wars, like Palpatine's voice is one of those iconic things. Like people know Darth Sidious, they know that voice. So at the end of a movie, hearing that voice again, you're like, oh shit. Like he was thought to be, we thought Darth Vader killed him in the original trilogy, right? Like, that's the prophecy, is like Anakin ends up actually fulfilling the prophecy, just not the way we thought he would. He ends up, killing a bunch of people first and causing a whole genocide and stuff like that. But then eventually he does fulfill the prophecy. And
he gets it done.
He balances out the Force. The prophecy is that he will balance out the Force. And by killing Darth Sidious, he balances out the Force. It comes true. It just takes, a while and a lot of fucked up shit first. That would be so cool. Anyway, this is like all headcanon stuff that they could have done that they clearly are not going to do. But we know Doctor Doom. This is all an aside to you just saying that, like, we know Doctor Doom is Robert Downey Jr. You were going to say something, and I forgot.
Oh, I was going to say, and there was also another point that I had. I don't fully remember it, but the one thing I was about to say when we went on this tangent was just that, like, I really want to see Avengers Doomsday. And because I really want to see Avengers Doomsday, and because I've seen all the other Avengers movies at this point, I know, similar to the comic books, there are storylines where it's like, you need to see all this other stuff first. So I'm going to go, and I'm probably going to watch a lot of these other Marvel movies, even if they suck. Yeah. Listen, I suffered through 2 terrible Thor movies.
Yep.
So I can probably suffer through whatever. I will never talk about Marvel without shitting on those Thor movies. They are the worst.
Have you seen
the worst
Love
movies
and Thunder
I've ever seen
yet?
in my life. No, I've never seen that movie.
Okay, well, that's one of the ones you got to see. Love and Thunder. That's the newest Thor movie.
I got to see Love and Thunder. I can't imagine it's worse than Thor 1 and 2, but I got to see it. Frazier's face right now.
Because like, when you're comparing shit to shit, it's like, yes, some shit is nasty green baby shit, and some shit is just like a brown dump. But at the end of the day, it's shit, right? So I'm thinking in my head, like, you're saying this can't be worse. I'm like, yeah, but it's shit is shit. In my head, I'm like, shit is shit. But
shit is shit.
But yeah, there's definitely worse shits. So
I'm gonna at some point catch up on a lot of the Marvel stuff. I don't know if I'll watch all the shows. I don't even know what shows are out.
I don't think you have to.
Definitely watch the movies.
Yeah.
And then, because I want to see Doomsday, I want to get hype. Because this movie, so to come all the way back, something else I think is really cool about this movie is that the title is a double entendre, and I get horny for double entendres no matter where I find them. But it's called Fantastic Four First Steps, right? This does a couple things. One, it sets up the fact that this is the first Fantastic Four movie. This is the origin movie of the Fantastic Four in the MCU.
Yep.
But like Frazier already said, this is not an origin story, because it does tell the origin story, but it's like, hey, this is 4 years later. We're not going through like the rookie shit. They're already here. But this is the first Fantastic Four movie. It's their first steps or whatever. But then it's like, hey, it's not their first steps. It's 4 years later. Oh shit, they're having a baby.
Yes.
First steps. That applies to the kid. It's like a baby's first steps.
Literally.
And it's also the first Fantastic Four movie. That little stuff like that always gets me, because I didn't know there was a baby plot line. I didn't know anything about the movie. Clue. I don't know if that was confirmed beforehand. I don't know.
Bro, when I came in and she was like, I'm pregnant, I was like, because my friend doesn't know anything about the comics at all. So I looked over to him. I was like, yo, I'm pretty sure that their child is like OD. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. And then I went on my phone real quick and I just like Googled, I was like, Franklin Richards. Because I even know his name. I was like, Franklin Richards.
You do.
And it came up with the Google AI thing. And the first thing was like, Franklin Richards is one of the most powerful characters in all of it. And I was like, oh, this child is going to be a big deal.
Yep. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. The fact that she was pregnant. And just the fact that like first steps ends up also being a reference to the fact that it's like a baby.
Also,
which is really cool.
I think this thing is called Chekhov's gun or something like that. Somebody's gun. Basically, if you see a gun in a movie or in a show, it has to be used at some point in the show or in the movie.
Yeah.
You cannot have a gun sitting somewhere like on a table or whatever like that. And you cannot have a gun in a scene and then never have it be used or brought up again. It has to be used. And I think it's called Chekhov's gun, but I could be like completely making up that name. Anyway, this is a thing that is like a common writing thing. It's a common movie thing. It's a common show thing.
Yeah, because otherwise if it becomes like a red herring.
Exactly. It's just like why was
the
that?
opposite term is that.
Yes. And then it becomes annoying to people who are like, well, why the fuck was that? Then we start complaining about stuff because we've had plenty of podcasts where we shit on things like, why was this even in there if they didn't elaborate on it at all, right?
Yep.
Kind of how I feel about Orochimaru's arms in Naruto, but that's a whole different topic. So,
oh boy,
the Chekhov's gun, the smoking gun thing is like, okay, if you introduce a gun in Act 1, you have to use it in Act 3. In this movie, they follow that. They introduce Reed Richards making this thing that can teleport an egg from one place to another, and they kind of hide it as an important thing at first because it's just kind of like, oh, he's just doing his thing. He's super smart. He's just being Reed fucking Richards. Being Reed Richards
doing smart shit.
So you might not think too much of it because it's just like, oh, okay, cool. He's making something that can teleport an egg from one place to another. It doesn't really seem like it's going to be a huge plot point. But then in Act 3, when Galactus actually comes and he's like, I'm going to devour Earth, there's nothing you guys can do, they go back to that gun and they use it in a cool ass way. And I really just like writing, movies suck because you only have 2 hours to tell a full story from beginning to end. And you have to make it all cohesive and make sense. And you have to have these plot points and character development. And it's just a lot that you have to do in 2 hours. And I understand why most movies just aren't good because of all those things you have to do. Shows do this much better because they have so much more time to develop. Imagine if The Last of Us was a movie. It would be awful.
Yeah.
It would be awful. I should say this. Let me rephrase. It would be awful if they tried to do the video game in one movie.
Yeah.
It would be an awful
not
movie.
Enough time.
It's just not, bro. There's no way you can go through the development of Ellie and everything in 1 2-hour movie, 2.5 hour movie, 3 hours tops. Is what movies.
You have to cut out a lot of stuff, and they wouldn't feel as closely connected.
It would feel so rushed, and like so. My point is,
and then it would be like at the end when Joel. Spoilers for Last of Us season 1 and the first game. Big spoilers. At the end when Joel kills everybody, it would be like he just met her 10 minutes ago. Like why? Why is he fucking killing it? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Because they would have to skip so much of the stuff they did together, so many of the cities they were in.
Yeah.
They would have to skip that, and so it would feel like they just met, and he's fucking killing all these. This is crazy.
Now, on the contrary, imagine if when Galactus comes, Reed Richards conveniently out of nowhere has a teleportation device that he's planning to use that you didn't even hear about. You'd be like, what? Like, I get that this guy is smart, but where is this coming from? Like, you just so happen to have that. Why has this never? But they show it as a subtle thing in the beginning, and he's all hype about it. And he's showing Johnny Storm. He's showing Johnny Storm like the thing, and it's like, okay, that's cool, I guess. Anyway, so I have this big thing to tell you about, and they kind of just like brush it aside. Like it just kind of gets, but I love stuff like that because it comes back in a big way at the end. And just little things like that just make this movie, again, me and Kenny both think this movie is good. So we're just kind of explaining reasons why I think this movie is good without having to give you like a book report of the movie. Because like, hopefully if you listen to it, you saw the movie.
There was, oh my God, what was it? It was a nugget in my brain. As I try to remember that nugget, I'm going to just quickly say, hey, randomly, Human Torch is the guy from Stranger Things.
He is. He's been getting a lot of roles too. He was in that movie I saw last year called not Civil War. It was called Warfare. Or I might have saw that last year or this year. I don't remember. It might, because by this year, it was in the beginning of the year. There's a movie that came out called Warfare, and it's like an hour and a half movie, and all it is a bunch of U.S. military men in Afghanistan or Iran or one of those hostile environments. They're covertly in a house across the street from terrorists. And so while they're in the house...
Oh, I saw that movie. I actually watched that movie. Yeah, and he is in that movie.
Yes, Warfare, right?
Yeah.
And like
the whole movie's like them in that house. That movie's fucking crazy.
Oh, the movie's amazing. I thought it was fucking brilliant. The sound design too, like the loudness of what's happening. I felt my palm sweat so bad watching that movie because it feels so real when like the bombs and stuff happen. But they're
it's based on a true story.
It is based on a true story. They show all the real people at the end of the movie, but they're like binoculars watching terrorists across the street, and the terrorists are not really doing anything. They're living a regular life. They're having like a little cookout type vibe. They're just chilling. But suspicious shit is happening. And then eventually the movie kind of kicks off, and when it kicks off in a big way. And he's in that movie. So I was like, oh shit, this guy's getting like a lot of roles. And I actually like him as an actor too. So I like Johnny Storm.
He's good.
I like him.
I remember the other thing I was going to say. To go all the way back to like an earlier thing with like Reed Richards and how smart he is and him also being a bad guy sometimes and Dr. Doom. One of the big push and pulls with him and Dr. Doom is like Reed is so smart. And this is a thing with his character overall. He's so intelligent that Dr. Doom thinks he has to be evil. Like, with how you have to be evil. Because if you weren't evil, how are there still bad things? Almost like if God was real, why are there still bad things that happen in the world? It's like, with how fucking smart you are, why are there still problems? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be evil. And so there was a part in the movie that I liked so much.
Oh, I know exactly. I just wrote it down.
Yeah, Reed and Sue were like arguing.
Yep.
And
about giving the baby away and shit like that. And
yeah, and then she's like, you thought about it. And he's like, it doesn't. He's like, no, I didn't. And then eventually he's like, it doesn't matter that I thought about it. I'm not going to do it. And he starts like explaining all this stuff. He says, that's my job. Like, I think of the worst thing that could happen so I could stop it from happening. And because he's so fucking smart and he's talking about all this stuff. And while that's happening, I'm laughing to myself.
Yeah.
But it's not like a chuckle, haha laugh. It's like a laugh. And then Connie, who's sitting next to me, my wife, because we're in the movie theater, she's like, why are you laughing? She just like asked, she's like, why are you laughing? And my response was, I'm not really laughing. I just fucking love Reed Richards. Because I'm watching this and it's like, you see how smart he is. And then he has like the burden of his intelligence and all of the different avenues and lanes his intelligence takes him down. And what is actually the most effective option that is the least dangerous. And like, he knows the meta. He figures the meta out. He knows what it is. But then he also knows I can't always do that because like it's the wrong thing to do, even though it's mathematically the right thing to do. And you can see how that person could become a villain because like eventually he starts realizing like, okay, none of you agree with me, but this is actually the safest way, the best way for things to happen. And even though no one agrees with me, this is what needs to be done. And you guys won't let me do it. I'm just going to fucking do it.
Yep.
And it's so fucking cool.
I love that line. That argument is honestly, to me, probably the best part of the entire movie. Like, honestly, because the action is whatever. Like, I'm not really there. I'm not really there for the action for Fantastic Four. I've seen Flame on enough. I've seen Reed Richards stretch, even though he barely does it in this movie. And I'm also fine with that. I know people have gripes with the fact that he almost never really uses his powers in the movie, but like, I don't care. Because again, I look at this movie's so well written.
He used his most important power, which is his brain.
Exactly. The movie's so well written that it's more of like a drama to me than it is like this action-packed hero movie that they're fighting all these bad guys all the time. It's not that. But when he says bad things creep into my mind all the time, it's my job. It's my job for me to think about the worst possible thing to prevent it from happening. So that's like, yes, I did think about our kid being given away to the fucking terroristic galactic force that we don't even quite understand yet, and we're trying to analyze it, and its DNA is not even coming up on anything. It predates our entire universe. Yes, I did think about giving our newborn child to that entity. Yes, I did think about it. I did, because that's what I fucking do, Sue. That's literally what I do. I can't help that part. But I was I going to do it? No. But I did think about it.
And then because the whole world is talking about it, and he's like, it's mathematical, it's efficient, it's effective. Like, and she's just like, and then at the end of the movie, when they're trying to figure out, when they talk about the teleporter, when they're trying to figure out how to fuck, it's only going to be on for like 34 seconds. How are we going to get him in the fucking teleporter? Like, how are we even going to get, like, we got the entire planet to work together to build the teleporter, and then Silver Surfer destroyed it. They were supposed to teleport the planet. But then it's like, we're going to teleport Galactus. They're like, how the fuck do we even get him in the teleporter? And then Reed Richards figures it out. And then he doesn't say anything.
Nope,
and then Sue looks at him. And then Sue's like, you already figured it out.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I didn't. She's like, you figured it out. And he's like, I didn't figure out shit. And then fucking Thing and Johnny are like, what is going on? And she's like, he figured it out. He knows what to do. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And then, you know, they're arguing. And then, like, you know, they figure out that, like,
she says it.
We have to use he wants to use the baby as bait.
I actually took that conversation as though he manipulated the entire conversation to get to that point. When I saw that conversation unfold and it got to that conclusion, I was like, I feel like he did this. I feel like he literally
Johnny
did that.
I love Johnny being like, no, hold on, wait, I don't agree with this plan. It's a horror. They're like, it's the best plan. He's like, I think it's a terrible plan. Like,
yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. Also, you brought up Thanos. I wanted to say Thanos made a line that I still quote to this day. You're not the only one cursed with knowledge, to Tony Stark, he says. That line sticks with me so much because I've never heard it before that movie. Infinity War is my favorite Marvel movie. And that line applies to Reed Richards, and they didn't have to, like, you know, shoehorn it in or anything, but him saying it's my job to think about the worst possible outcome so that I can prevent it is the same thing as saying I'm cursed with knowledge. Is literally the same exact thing delivered in a different way. And I just love that they have this, like, through line. Marvel, like, the Marvel writers clearly are referencing Thanos with that. Like, yes, it is horrible that I want to end 50% of all living things. I understand that, but it is the only way right now that I can think to solve the problem. And it is the most efficient way. It's the best way. Like, it does. Yes, it's horrible, but Thanos is basically Reed Richards if he did it.
Yeah. So it's really good. Man, it's a good movie. I love Reed as a character. I love what he goes through. And the thing is, too, is, like, I gained an appreciation for Reed Richards, like, years later through comic books and things like that. Because if you just watch, once again, the cartoon, just like how you were disappointed with Dr. Doom.
Yep.
If you just watch the cartoons, Reed Richards is just like this goofy fucking guy.
Yeah, that stretches. Like, he's not impressive at all.
Nah, he's not interesting in any way. Like, he's just like this goofy whatever. Like, and he's corny. Like, I just remember for a lot of time just thinking he was fucking corny.
Yeah, and then I started hearing about comic book stuff.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh wait, he's actually kind of sick.
Every time Garen will bring up Reed Richards, first of all, there would be discussions going on about intelligence and stuff like that, and how certain mutants are like, this is a S tier, intelligent, whatever. And then the conversation will always be like, yeah, but Reed Richards smites. And I'm like, the fucking stretch he got from Fantastic Four, and it's like, yeah, he's actually outrageous. And because I had only seen the cartoon, I was like, there's no way that fucking character is the end all be all in Marvel. And it's like, no, he actually just he really is, though. Like, he actually just is.
He's super smart. So something else I really like about this movie, I love how campy it is. I love that it feels like a comic book.
Yeah.
The movie starts off, and first of all, it's like in the 50s or something, but it's like a Jetsons. It takes place in, like, the 50s or something. I don't know the exact decade, but it has an old vibe. It's super old. They're wearing
the way
clothes,
they're dressed. Yep.
The buildings, the cars, everything looks old, like how the Fantastic Four looked when Marvel first started. Like, it looks like that.
Yeah.
And the announcer, hey, and now everybody, and this is our favorite family.
Yeah.
And he's talking about it, and he gives a rundown of all the villains they fought. And then they have, like, you know, these old cars, and they have this funny ass looking old car that can go up and fly, and their little Fantastic car.
Yeah.
And it's just really cute and campy and old looking, and it has that Jetsons vibe. They have, like, giant CRTs on the side of buildings. Like, it's just, I really like the whole vibe of it. And it's cool because it takes place in the MCU, but it's obviously a different universe. So it's a universe that has evolved and gone in a different direction. And it just is different. I get the feeling that there aren't really superheroes at this point in time in this universe. It's just the Fantastic Four.
That's what it gives. And can I just say,
there's no Avengers or anything like that. It's just them.
Can I just say, I want to speak to this too. So much to talk about. I love that it's a period piece where it takes place before cell phones. And to that point, I am starting to loathe any movie or show that I'm supposed to take seriously when an iPhone gets pulled out. I'm having a hard time connecting to most media where it's in the modern world and everyone has a phone. It has to be written so well because there is something about the modern world and just trying to write a story where everyone has a phone, and it breaks so much of the suspension of disbelief. Because think about right now, right? If I go outside, completely hypothetical, if I go outside and commit a crime right now, I will be caught.
Yeah.
I will be caught, and I will be caught specifically because if someone didn't literally record me with their phone, there are cameras everywhere.
Yep.
Like there are cameras, bro. We saw a plane crash a couple months ago on camera in Philadelphia. Like there was a plane crash that happened.
Multiple angles too.
Yes.
Multiple angles.
Kenny sent one. I sent one. The Twitter had like 5 other ones.
Yeah, Ring cameras, and then just like people accidentally filming it because they were doing something else on their phone.
Yep. And so suspension of disbelief is really hard in a movie that has like modern technology where people pull out iPhones. It's like, how did this happen? And how did the FBI not immediately get involved? How did the government not immediately get involved? What I'm saying is Fantastic Four is a movie that the characters don't all just fucking pull out phones. The citizens don't all just pull out phones, start recording them when they're having press conferences. There's not that vibe to it. And specifically what I want to talk about, I watched this movie called Long Legs a couple months ago, probably at the end of last year, like beginning of this year. I'm not sure when it came out exactly, but it's a really good horror movie called Long Legs. It's about a serial killer. And it's also a period piece where it's before technology is all modernized. So iPhone's not a thing. And I was thinking about horror movies in the last several years and how they all suck. Like most horror movies that have come out in the last several years are just bad because, again, I really do think that having modern technology and trying to convince me that this serial killer, like in new Scream movies, everyone has a phone and usually they're texting and you see the little blue bubble come up, then the green bubble, then the blue bubble, and then like Scream is in the background doing stuff. I'm like, bro, this is just so bad. Like already, like Scream was authentic back in the day when it was like somebody answering a house phone. What are you wearing? Like it was way more authentic back then. And now with all the cameras and all the tech, it just seems so disconnected from reality. You want me to believe that this serial killer is going house to house on foot in a fucking Halloween costume when it's not even Halloween and murdering people and getting away with it. I just don't believe that. So
because they would have him on multiple cameras going, like they'd have his whole trip home, his whole trip there, his whole trip home. You'd have it from 70 different angles. Yeah, like what are we talking about? The guy who killed the CEO got apprehended in fucking 3 days, and he was in Philadelphia. Like he was in PA somewhere, like at a McDonald's. Like it took no time at all to figure him out and have 7 different angles of the guy and everything. So yeah, I just don't believe in like horror movies. And to that point, Long Legs is really good, but it's because when you're watching it, you don't have to worry about technology in it because it takes place when cars are made out of metal. It takes place when phones are something that are on the wall. They're landlines. They ring and you twist the dial to dial on the phone at this time. It's really dark. It's really good. And it makes more sense to be believable when children are being taken from their home and children are being like disappeared. You're like, well, how is this happening? It's at a time where that could happen and no one saw it. No one saw it because no one was outside and no one has a fucking phone and there's not a Ring camera on every house. So a child could go missing and you never figure out what happened to the child. Yeah, it changes things. It definitely changes things. And a lot of aspects about the time period, the whole design of the movie, I think lends to the enjoyment of it for sure. It has just that feel, that vibe. It feels good to watch. And then there aren't things like that take you out of it, where everything's like recorded on the phone and whatnot.
Yeah, and also like The Thing, speaking of character development, they do a little subtle storyline with The Thing that I really like, where you see him walking down the street with groceries. And here's what I thought was brilliant. Throughout the entire movie, he's always super happy and like making jokes. And he seems to be this bubbly character. He seems to be this character that's always like, happy to joke around, happy to just do stuff, use his powers and stuff like that, lifting up cars for kids. But then you see him alone walking down the street on a random night, has groceries in his arms, and he looks in the mirror and he sees himself. And he's very clearly depressed about it.
Yeah.
And like, it's such a subtle thing. They don't harp on it too long. They don't make a whole big deal about it. But like, you now know that this character who pretends to be like, he's a hero to the kids. Pick up pick up the car. He's like, I don't think I can do it. And like, he goes to do it and he can't do it. He's like, let me try again. And then he tries it again and he obviously picks up the car super easy. Like, now throw it. And he's like, all right, like, chill. But like, he's a hero to the children. And he's this great heroic character. Everyone loves him and all this other stuff. But then he quietly hates his appearance. And I just love how they subtly put that in, because he also sees the teacher that he's attracted to. She treats him really nice and he likes her very clearly, but he realizes, look at me. Like, she would never, ever date or be with someone like me, because look at me. And he sees her with her students and he just kind of stands there longing for a life that's normal in that way. And like, he sees Sue and he sees Reed and they're having a child. They're happily in love. Their anatomies line up. And he's thinking about himself. And it's just like subtle things like that. Like that character being depressed about his appearance is just such a, like, and granted, this is not the first time that the Thing has been clearly sad about his appearance and all that. Like, that's a part of his character. But I like the way this movie portrays it.
Yeah, they don't dwell on it, but they give you enough so that you know that it's there. Like you said, he's bubbly and happy. And a lot of times when you see him, whenever he's around other people. But he has this, dark kind of longing, and he just is upset and he's sad and he doesn't like the way he looks. He doesn't, because they all got powers, but they all still look like people, right? Like they can turn their powers off, so to speak. Even if they're not ever off, like they're still people, whereas he's a giant rock monster. And it has a deep effect on him. And what's really cool is that for the most part, and in this, I don't remember if this movie really touches on it, but this is something that gets touched on a lot with their relationship, Ben and Reed, is that like for the most part, he doesn't really blame Reed for it. Like sometimes you get the feeling that maybe he does, but for the most part, he doesn't ever blame Mr. Fantastic. But Reed always blames himself. And like a big thing is that throughout all of the years, he's trying to find a way to fix the Thing, fix his best friend, Ben, to get him back to normal. And in this movie, basically my point is, though, is like, I know outside looking in that those feelings are there. I don't really think it's explored much here, but there is a moment that I really like where Reed Richards is talking about, I forget exactly what it is, but he's like, I should have fixed it. I should have seen it coming or whatever. And then the Thing's like, well, no one could have thought of that. And he's like, I could have thought of that. Like, I should have thought of that. I could have thought of that. And then the Thing's like, well, you're not that smart. Like, I know you think you're smart, but you're not that smart. And then I forget what he says, but he says something like, you were always picked last when we played basketball or something. Like, I forget what he says, but like, he was like, you suck at this. And then he's like, all right, well, and then he's like, you're pretty bad at this too. Like, he's just like boy stuff. Like, yo, like you kind of suck at this. But you're not that smart because you didn't know about this. And then Reed's like, all right, dog, like whatever.
Am I toxic for thinking that Reed purposely is not curing him? Like, is it toxic that while you were talking about I could have prevented it, and then, like, he's looking for a cure for his friend Ben? I don't think he is. I actually think that I think Reed Richards is keeping the Thing just the way he is, because if you're going to be living under my roof near my hot wife, Vanessa Kirby, who by the way is smoking hot. If you're going to be
pretty hot.
If you're going to be living under my roof with my smoking wife walking around this bitch, I need you
better be her brother.
I need or ugly, or ugly, or literally unplayable. I need you to be literally, you couldn't fuck my wife if you try, and I'm going to keep it that way. As selfish and as fucked up as it is, I high key think, because Reed Richards is smart, and what he say? I always let the worst thing creep into my mind because it's my job. The worst thing that could happen is me coming in on my wife and you hooking up. Because think about it, they're all friends, right? They've been through this trauma together. They've been astronauts together. They're a group. Everyone in the world literally groups them together. They're a family. They eat Sunday dinner. That's a lot of proximity to someone. It's very easy. Oftentimes when someone cheats on their wife or their husband, it is oftentimes with a friend of the person.
It's groups.
That's
We've
a common.
Talked about this.
Yeah,
there's groups. There's groups of friends where like somebody in the group dates multiple other people in the group, and it's like,
there are plenty of Yu-Gi-Ohs. I have stories. Kenny has stories. We all have stories of friend groups being broken up by either a guy or a girl who decides to date and have a sexual relationship with multiple people in one friend group, which ends up destroying the friend group, right? That's a common thing, but people wonder, why would they do that? Why would you ever backstab your friend? And it's because of the proximity. You're around this, so like you might be friends, you and your best friend, you are guys, and your best friend has a girlfriend, You guys go out to eat all the time. You guys go to the movies all the time. You guys talk all the time. You guys joke with each other. You make fun of her. She makes fun of you. She calls you an idiot. You guys have a relationship. And yeah, it's not sexual. It's not anything like that because you in your mind have already compartmentalized it where that's your best friend's girl. And you're still a human, but you do have the control to say like, I'm not going to make any moves on her because she's literally my best friend's girl. And that's just not what we do.
Yeah.
But there is a animalistic part to all of us. And you do notice her beauty after a while because you're around her a lot. Proximity. You start to notice her eye color where you didn't really care. You thought when he first got with her, you was like, she's ugly. Like you'll even say to your friend, like, I would have just hit that and never talked to it again, blah, blah, blah. But then over time, you start to develop an attraction to people. And this happens to everyone. When you're around someone for a while, they might not be your type. Stay around them for a couple years. Stay around somebody who you're not attracted to for a couple years. I promise you, you will start to find things about the person.
Unless they're an absolute gremlin.
They have to be like literally unplayable. If they're not literally unplayable, you will find things that girl you thought is fat, you think she's you think she's fat, whatever. You think, oh, like she's dumb. You stay around her for a couple years. Be around her for a couple years. Yep. And I promise you, it will erode over time. And you will develop an attraction to that person. You can start to see how someone else could be attracted to the person, and then you might even be attracted to the person. And it happened to me. It's happened to several people that I know. It's just like it's a human thing. I realize like proximity is actually an important part in attraction. Like it's actually
100%.
Like obviously, initially physical attraction is like the first thing that humans, we see things, right? We see it. We see something and we're like, damn, that's a fat ass. Damn, that's, he has nice biceps. She has nice titties. He has nice whatever, right? Like you see things at first, or sometimes it's like, oh, he drives a really nice car. She comes from money, like certain things. Whatever it is, though, it starts off as like this very surface level physical thing. But over time, it becomes something more because of proximity. And I think that that's a factor that a lot of people don't, when they talk about attraction, they don't usually talk about, you're just around somebody for too long, you would develop an attraction. So I say all this to say, Reed Richards is a scumbag and he's not curing Ben because he doesn't want to fuck his wife. That's how I'm wrapping it up in a bow. I just wanted to put that out there. That's my theory and I'm sticking to it.
Hey man, it is what it is.
I've literally seen it happen.
Sorry.
I'm
sorry, Ben. You gotta stay ugly, bro. You just gotta stay, fuck it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to have a really cool relationship. Frazier, might be on to something, I mean.
Bro, the smartest man, like what you say, Dr. Doom told him, I think you're evil. I think somebody as smart as you, it's not possible for you to be good. Like, it's just not possible. It's not. It's not possible.
Speaking of hot chicks, Invisible Woman's obviously hot, but am I crazy? The Silver Surfer, right? You guys might think I'm crazy for what I'm about to say. When she is silver, when she was up there silver with her silver ass, I was like, damn, she kind of looked good. Like, she kind of looked good. I mean,
first of all, that actress, I love her because she's from Ozark.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about her. But when I saw just her as a human, regular person, not silver, I was like, I was like, I kind of liked her more when she was silver.
I agree with you 100%. I do not. So for what it's worth, I don't think that the actress is that attractive. Even when I watch, in Ozark, she plays a country bumpkin, even though her character is the best character in the entire show next to the main character, Marty. But in the show Ozark, which by the way, you never watched it, right?
No,
Ozark?
I haven't seen it. I wanted to see it. We've talked about this before. The really quick reminder for anybody who doesn't know is, when that show first came out, I thought it was an alien show.
See, me too.
Ozark just sounds like some alien shit.
I never would have watched it.
I just wasn't. Yeah, I was like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to watch it. And then it wasn't until years later that I found that it was about like drug kingpins and shit like that. And that was a lot more interesting to me. I still haven't seen it, but I plan on watching it now that I know it's not an alien.
Ozark is in my top 10 shows of all time. It ended.
Yeah, I heard it's really good.
It ended, I think, 2 years ago. So it's officially over. And what I will say is that it actually has, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to say how I feel. To me, it's one of the very few shows I've ever seen that actually has a great ending.
Yeah, it just sticks the landing. That's awesome. I want to see
that is so important. But the show, from episode 1 all the way to the end, some of the best writing, some of the best acting, some of the best storytelling, character development. It is fucking brilliant. It is absolutely, it's in my top 10 shows of all time, Ozark. And you're going to fall in love with the main character, Jason Bateman. He plays Marty. Fucking amazing character. The premise, for real quick, people don't know, the premise of Ozark is essentially money laundering for the Mexican drug cartel. That is the premise. The main character is an accountant. He's extremely smart, and he's good at money laundering and things like that. He's good at that type of thing because he's an accountant, and accountants are the best thieves in the world. So that is the premise, and it is just incredibly written. So yeah, she is from that show. So never thought she was.
I just want to real quick say, I do got to watch it at some point. The last thing I want to say is, even though I was hating on it because I thought it was an alien show, that doesn't mean I hate alien shows. I've seen some good alien shows.
Yeah, same.
It's harder for me to get initially. I was like, I don't feel like watching a fucking Netflix alien show.
It looked like the poster for Signs. Remember the movie Signs with the guy who has HIV and he's like Charlie Sheen? There's like that movie Signs that I was like, oh, this looks like Signs the show. I just wasn't interested. So I never watched it until
that girl is a country girl.
Yep, in that show. So she's not attractive because she literally is not meant to be attractive, I feel like, in Ozark. But in Silver Surfer, or I should say in Fantastic Four as the Silver Surfer, when she is covered metallically, she looks amazing. And then when they showed her as just like a regular human, I was like, put the silver back on.
That's what I was saying. I was with Johnny Storm a little bit. I was like, she's kind of a babe. Yeah. Like she's a space babe. Like I'm all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then I saw her real body and I was just like,
put it back.
You can go back to being silver.
Yeah, you had a Peter Griffin moment.
Put it back to being silver, please.
Just put it back. I had the same exact thought. I was like, she doesn't look that great, but maybe it's because of the weird clothes she was wearing. Because she's a scientist from a different planet, and like she was just dressed strange, and she had a kid and all that. But so we could talk about this a little bit. I think her intro was fucking amazing. The way she just like comes to Earth and immediately announces your planet has been marked for death. And that's the first thing out of her mouth. And I love the way she delivers the lines, like so stoic, so unemotional about the whole thing. She just says, your planet's been marked for death. I'm the herald of the eater of planets. She names all these other things, breaker of chains, mother of dragons, blah, 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 Galactus. And then she goes to fly away. And then obviously Mr. Flame-O and Johnny Storm goes into the air, tries to have a conversation with her. And she flies so far into space that it's cold out there. But she does say something to him before he falls back down into Earth's orbit. And it's in a different language, but he remembers it because this Johnny Storm is actually intelligent. But he remembers what she says. And then they kind of like decipher. They use what she says to literally learn her entire language, basically.
Yeah, because for years they've been getting like these recordings and they don't know what the fuck they're from. They're just coming from outer space. So what's really cool is some people are like, hey, this doesn't make sense. We do this. It's kind of crazy that we do this, but we do this. The planet Earth, we send recordings out into the universe. We've sent like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, like we've sent music and recordings just out into the universe, and then that also like can be triangulated back to our planet.
Yeah.
And the idea is like if there's any life out there, like they would hear like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, like that music is being played in the like throughout the universe right now, being sent through the universe and all this other crazy shit. So they've picked up these transmissions from all over the universe of this woman talking in this language, and they don't know what the fuck it is. And they have tons and tons and tons of transmissions. And then Johnny Storm talks to her. She says something. He recognizes her voice and the language, and then she translates it. And that one translation of that sentence they use as the cipher to then decode the entire language, which is really fucking cool.
He calls it a Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
Literally, Rosetta Stone.
And if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I think that's how the real Rosetta Stone is. Is essentially, it had like, I might be misremembering this, but I think it essentially had like a sentence, like one sentence, and then that sentence was translated on this stone into like 50 different languages. And then that's how they use the Rosetta Stone to decode all of these different languages from across time, because like that stone had like whatever the sentence was translated into all these different languages. So then you could use that as like the basis to then decode the rest of the language. It's something to that degree.
Yeah.
I'm not
really
100%,
smart.
but yeah.
It's really smart the way languages get decoded and stuff like that. I like learning about linguistics and all of that. It's pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, they get told that their planet is marked for death, and then they say, okay, well, we're going to go to see this Galactus person because what the fuck? Like, how are we going to deal with that? And obviously, everyone, she makes this broadcast publicly. She doesn't come to the Fantastic Four's apartment and says it quietly to just them.
She says it to Earth.
Yeah, she tells them to hold their loved ones, cherish their last moments, their last days. She also tells them there's nothing you can do. It's a very like bleak and dark message. It's one of those nihilism, I think is what they call, like just the end of the, you just think the end of time, like the end of days, like just death and darkness. It's like very nihilistic. But she comes and tells everybody on Earth that you're all going to die and there's nothing you could do and you're going to serve as sustenance to this Galactus person. And so everybody's looking to the Fantastic Four, like, what are you guys going to do? You're our fucking heroes. Like, you guys have to do something about it. And they go out into space and she's like, you shouldn't have came. But then she says, like, Galactus will see you now. You should not have come though. And I like her character. It's very, I'm here to do a job. And I didn't even know that they were going to give her a backstory. I thought that she was just going to be like this stoic character all the time, which, it's fine because the Silver Surfer, I know that they have lore, but I didn't know that they were going to touch on it immediately. But I do like the way she kind of brings him to Galactus. She's like, Galactus will see you now. And then he turns on, his eyes light up, and he's like, hey, you guys, blah, blah, blah. And then he looks and scans Sue, and he sees the baby inside her stomach. And at first he was on all bullshit. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to come and eat your planet. Like, just wanted to let you guys know.
Yep.
But then he's like, wait a second, that baby, give me the child and I will spare your planet. And they're like, what? He's like, that child will serve as like my successor. They will rid me of this insatiable hunger that I have.
And what's so cool is that Reed and Sue are paranoid because they just want their baby to be normal. They don't want their baby to have any powers because they have compromised DNA, as they say. And that baby could have any fucking powers. He could have just stretchy, just invisible, some combination of both, something completely different. He could be a fucking rock boy. Like, he could have all kinds of shit wrong with him. They do an infinite amount of tests. Reed does everything. And he kind of knows for a fact, as far as he knows, that like the baby has no powers. There's nothing. His DNA is completely normal. There's literally nothing. But then Galactus is like he is like a cosmic being. Like, his power. He says like he's hiding his power from you.
He literally does tell him that,
which
he's
is interesting. But yeah, and then Reed is like, when he's talking about like this guy exists before our universe and things like that, like he's coming to the realization that like if our baby, it does have like this cosmic power, it's possible that he does have a power and it's so old or so above me that like I can't even understand it yet.
Yeah. I do like the premise that Franklin is already doing things as an infant. Like, Franklin very clearly in this movie has done a couple things. One, hiding his powers from his parents, who are, one of them is the smartest person in the verse right now. So that's one thing. He's blatantly doing that because Galactus can see it because Galactus is ridiculous, but they can't. So that's the first thing. But then the other thing that he does is he resurrects his mom at the end of the movie, which I thought was also like, oh shit, like that's really impressive because she was fully dead. And he said, no, you're not, because one of his abilities, according to just like everything on the internet, is he can just warp reality. Like, Franklin is so ridiculous that he can just change reality. And they don't really give like at least from what I read, there wasn't like a limit to his, like, it was like he can create dimensions, he can create universes, he can create life, he can do this and that and clone, and it was just like basically anything that you could think for a ridiculous character to have, he can just do what he wants. And his only thing that holds him back is that he's just young, so he has like emotional responses to things and stuff like that. Like, he's just young, he's a young person. He hasn't lived millions of years, but he will eventually live millions of years and just be like Dr. Manhattan. So yeah, I like the premise of the movie, and it's not, Thanos didn't send, not Thanos, Galactus didn't send a horde of enemies for them to fight and ward off. Nah. It's not one of those movies where you get to see like a bunch of action and fighting between the Fantastic Four and these villains. It's just like, no, this calamity's coming and you guys have to figure out how to stop it. And that is honestly the movie and how they deal with that.
And what's cool, like, the only real action is, well, there's like action when they get to like the planet that Galactus is eating and they go on his ship. There's like some action. There's like a little bit of a chase scene or whatever. But the only real action is at the end of the movie where they're fighting Galactus. And what's really cool about that too is, and this is something that I kind of got from like playing Dungeons and Dragons. This might sound crazy, but stick with me. In D&D, when you're playing D&D, if you're running a game of D&D and you're running it for other people to play, when you're doing the combat portion, it's really boring and uninteresting if the combat is just combat for combat's sake. you guys meet, you just fight until the other one dies.
Yeah.
Tends to be really boring. The combat has to have something else to it. What was really cool about this fight at the end of this movie was like, there was no beating Galactus. That wasn't on the table. It wasn't, let's beat Galactus. It was, we just have to get rid of him.
Yep.
So it adds an extra goal, an extra layer to the combat, which makes it a lot more dynamic and interesting, because it's not like who's stronger, blah, 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 who's going to win. It's just like, we just have to get rid of him. There's no beating him. And so that's just, it adds a cool dynamic. There's no killing him. They were never going to kill him. That was never going to happen. It was just, we don't die, save as many lives as we can, and like get rid of him and hopefully not have to deal with him again in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I do like that whole just repel. Like, and they set it up from the gate. We're never. At first, it was we're just going to teleport away, and he won't be able to find us for a very long time, and then we'll just keep doing that. We'll just keep like moving around, and then that shit got thwarted so fucking fast.
Yeah,
like that plan with
came down, dude. They were setting up the teleporter. It was working. It was all going to happen, right? And then all of us, boom, boom, boom. And the Silver Surfer is like,
I love that
fast
scene.
As fuck, right? She's fucking FTL.
Did you see how they showed
like...
that? They showed the picture of the globe, and they showed all the little like things that they set up, all little teleporter things that they set up. But they zoomed out, so you saw the Earth from space, and you saw her fucking going from thing to thing. And I was like, yo, she's going across continents, like
just blowing it up.
Yeah, she's extremely fast.
Everything. She's so fast. I mean, when they were in their spaceship, there was a part where they're like engaging FTL sequence, which is faster than light. And like they go faster than light, and then they do it to escape Galactus. And as they're doing it, they're like, whew, all right, we did it. We got away. And then that bitch was behind. They were like, what?
Yeah, she entered.
Like, we're in FTL sequence right now.
She entered hyperspace. So you know how every space thing ever, whenever they do hyperspace, there's like basically looks like a little hallway, like a energy hallway thing, like a circle, a cylinder of energy, and the ship is flying through. And that's kind of how every medium decides to show light speed or hyperspace. It's always like you're in a cylinder looking thing, and it's light particles all around you, and that's how we know you're going light speed. Well, she showed up in that bitch and was riding a wave. And I said, oh, God, she is actually... Because at first I was like, are they exaggerating her speed, or is that really... But no, she is really that fast. Like, Shalabala, light speed.
She's crazy.
Yeah, light speed character.
She is crazy.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm not super familiar with all of the iterations of Silver Surfer from the comics. I don't know if she's ever been a female. I'm sure she has. But, interesting twist that it was a girl.
I don't
most of the times the Silver Surfer is always depicted as a guy.
Yep.
Yeah, cool twist. It also gives Johnny Storm something to be horny over, and Johnny Storm loves being horny. He says it in the movie. There's only two things I love, and that's women and space. And I get it, guys. It's a space woman. You guys aren't taking me seriously, but listen, there's more to this.
Yep. Yeah, actually, I like that. What else is there? So they fight him at the end. At one point, Johnny Storm is about to sacrifice himself to push Galactus the final steps he needs.
Oh my God. I fucking love that part, man. I love that part. I'm a sucker for a sacrifice.
Me too.
See what I mean? I'm a fucking suck. And so when he's like, and my sister just had, kids. I'm an uncle. You know what I mean? You're around the niece and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. When he's like up there, and it's like there's not like Susan Storm was doing everything. She was fucking boom pushing that motherfucker through the whole city. And then it's like the end of the rope. They thought they got him through. He comes back out. It's like, all right, fuck. And then he goes like, tell him Uncle Johnny loves him. And then like he's about to go do his absolute thing. And then, the Silver Surfer comes through. But I was I was like, oh my God, my guy, Johnny.
My heart dropped. My heart dropped for a split second because I didn't read the situation for what it was about to really happen. So me neither. When he was going to sacrifice himself, I was like, oh fuck, he's going to die. And as he's rushing in, when the Silver Surfer came and hit him out the air, I said, oh no, they lost. I don't know why. Like my brain, I interpreted when she first when she first hit him out the way, I was like, oh.
You were like, fuck.
I was like, fuck, I forgot. Because I forgot about her. Because she got dealt with earlier with the whole.
Yep.
So Johnny Storm ended up setting up a trap for her. Because I think they realized also, we can't beat Galactus. We also can't beat her. They didn't even try.
Yeah. This bitch she surfs faster than light.
Yeah. So they gave up on beating her too. I love knowing your limitations. In this movie, there's no trying to really beat the two villains.
And I think that's part of what makes it pretty good.
Yeah.
Is that in a lot of other movies they would have beaten them somehow.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, they won. They did beat them, but not really. Like they didn't beat them like the way you fucking win a fight. Like they won the circumstance.
It took the Silver Surfer, who has the power cosmic inside them as well, to turn on her master in order for them to even have the fucking however long they're going to have before Galactus comes back. So they exactly. They don't really win conventionally. But I love the trap he set up for her was basically like, yo, you're not as stoic and as heartless as you pretend to be. And I'm going to play the cries and the voices of all the different planets and verses that you have ended for the sake of Galactus. Because it's determined that, oh, wait, how does he choose these planets? It's like, he doesn't. You choose them. You're the one going around and choosing the planets that are marked for death. So you're like a terrible person in a way, is what they're trying to pin it on her.
You're doing it all because he was going to eat your planet.
Yep.
And then you sacrificed yourself to become his herald. And so now, in order for your planet not to get eaten, you fly around the universe looking for planets for Galactus to eat.
Yep. And they also explain, like, at first his hunger was, regular, and then it becomes to the point where he needs to, like, consume entire. He's like, I was small like you guys at one time. Like, I remember being, he calls them small. He's like, I remember being, he's like, but that was millennia ago, like millennias and millennias ago.
Yeah.
So he's been around for God knows how long, right? He predates any understanding of history. The word history, he predates that. And and she's like, yeah, so she we get her backstory about what he really did. He came to her planet. She had a child. She was a scientist. He was going to eat it. And she's like, I'll be your herald. He coats her in the power cosmic. She becomes silver. She goes around choosing planets to be given away. And so Johnny Storm plays those cries, those screams of all those people, and it torments her. Clearly, this is something that lays on her mind already. But she puts up a good facade of acting like, oh, I never care about anything. I'm just here to do my job, and that's it. But clearly she cares. She runs away, and I kind of forgot about her. I just forgot about her. There's so much conflict in the movie. So when she comes and she hits him out the way, I was like, oh fuck! Like, she is a character still. She's on his side. She's on Galactus' side. So now it's like they just lose. And then this is what I thought was going. Let me tell you what I thought was going to happen, because this is also plausible. I was like, Franklin Richards is going to activate. And he's going to be what pushes Galactus into the portal and pushes the Silver Surfer away. He's going to do a baby thing, like wave his hand or cry. He's going to do something, and it's going to be some OD shit, and he's just going to make Galactus disappear. And it's going to be like, and they're going to be like, what just happened? It's like, I think our baby that doesn't have powers just show that he clearly has powers, and not just any powers, but like otherworldly, ridiculous abilities. Because that's also something they could have just done that, right?
Yep.
So I thought that's where it was going.
Was funny is that a couple things happened. So once again, this comes with like the curse of it's always fun. There's multiple ways to watch things. There's if you know absolutely nothing and you just take it at the ride as it comes.
Yep. And
then if you have some kind of pre-existing knowledge, and then that colors your perception. And I think that good writers play with both of those aspects. So when Johnny Storm is going to sacrifice himself, if you've followed some level of Fantastic Four, you know that is not out of character for Johnny Storm, in that like he's this goof, like he can be goofy and a womanizer or whatever. He is very intelligent. Something I appreciate about this movie is that there's a reason why he was in that spaceship too. He's also intelligent.
Yep.
But he's also kind of a goofball. But when it comes down to it, he does anything, just like any of the other four. He does anything for his family, and he's completely willing to sacrifice himself to save his family. So I was just like, oh my God, they're going to kill my boy. And then like, he doesn't die. Okay, great. All this. And then like, I was like, oh my, but I'm already in the headspace of people being dead.
Yes.
And so then I'm like, oh shit, like, are they really going to just let Sue die? Like, is Sue just fucking dead in the MCU? Like, that's fucking crazy. I can't believe they're going to let Sue die. And it just wasn't even in my head that like Franklin was going to do some, going to bring his mom back to life. Cause I also know that Franklin Richards is broken. I didn't know he was broken yet. I didn't know he was going to like touch his mom and bring her back to life. I was like, okay, that's cool. There's a happy ending. It's a family movie. And it's cool. Like, it also shows this character is very broken, which then leads into like the after credit scene where Dr. Doom shows up and fucking is talking to the baby.
Yeah, which I did not mind that she got brought back to life, because when she died, I was staring at the screen and I was like, all right, this kid hasn't done anything yet. The kid's going to do something very clearly. And it's like, I didn't have enough time it happened so quick when Silver Surfer knocked Johnny Storm out the way and then kicked Galactus into the portal and they both leave or whatever. That happened so fast that the time period between me thinking that she was on Galactus' side in that moment and the time period where I realized that, oh, she's actually helping the good guys here was like, I don't know, less than 5 seconds, right? Because it just happened. Like, she kicks him out the way, and she kicks him out the way, and then you see that her trajectory is towards Galactus, and you're like, oh, okay. So she's not actually, like, but then something that was very obvious is like, when she didn't wake up, she's on the ground. I was like, all right, like the kid is clearly going to do. I was like, I don't know how they're going to depict it. I didn't know if we were going to see energy coming out or something, but I was like, he's 100% going to resurrect the mom. And they just put the kid on top of the mom's body, which I think is also something that you would never do in real life, but whatever. They put the kid on top of the dead mom's body, and then the kid just wakes her up, just comes back to life.
And then one of my top 5 favorite parts about this movie is at the very end. At the very end, they're about to like go on the talk show again or whatever. And then they're like, try to do the Fantastic Five, and they're like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then like they get a distress call, and so they leave. They don't get to do the talk show. And then they spend like 5 minutes with the dad and the 2 uncles, the 3 boys that can't do anything right, cannot get this fucking car seat in. And it felt so relatable, so real life, because I've been that man, and I've also been around the men who just like stuck when it comes to baby shit. Like, you got 3 guys that can, and one of them is the smartest human on the planet.
Yep.
They cannot get this car seat in, and they're arguing. No, I did. No, I put that through. So you got to do this. Move out of the way. This is how you got to do it. And then the mom is just sitting there looking at them like, these fucking men. And it's just like, I something about that really tickled me, because it felt so real. Like, I've been in that exact situation where you have 3 guys trying to figure out how to get a car seat in, and nobody can do it right. And then you get like the mom comes over and like, get the fuck out of the way.
It is impressive how well women do certain things when it comes to just, and this is not to be misogynistic or anything, but just the way women, the way they handle children, the way they have these instincts and just know how to do certain things that we take for granted because it just gets done by a mom. We take it for granted, but then here comes a woman. I'll never forget the time, I told the story before, but I'll never forget the time we were making pasta at your house. We were making spaghetti. Me, you, and Medina, 3 guys in the kitchen, not knowing what the fuck we're really doing, right? We're trying to make spaghetti, which is honestly one of the easiest dishes to make, by the way.
We're burning water.
Yeah, we're burning water. We're trying to make spaghetti, and we're trying to make garlic cheese bread or whatever. And your mom comes home, and she sees us burning water in the kitchen, and she just takes over the whole operation. And like, what really got me is that she just started doing everything so rapidly and so well. And by the end of it, and I'll never get the one thing that really impressed me the most, she made garlic cheesy bread from scratch. And I just wasn't ready for that, because growing up in a black household, we're not Italian, I'm just black. In a black household, we just buy the fucking garlic cheesy bread in a box, and we put it in a toaster oven, and we put it in the oven, and like in 10 minutes, you'll get your fucking garlic toast cheesy bread, whatever, right? Your mom took like a cheese grater and cheese and garlic cloves and mashed it all up and grated cheese and fucking like made the fucking garlic cheesy bread, seasoned it and everything, made the pasta, seasoned the pasta sauce, tasting it, boiled the noodles, got them to the al dente or whatever you call it when noodles are perfect, like perfectly boiled. They're not overcooked. They're not undercooked. Just like and then we sat and we ate a fantastic Italian meal. And I kept thinking to myself, like, bro, that is not okay. You take that type of shit for
bullshit, because we were on bullshit. And then she just turned it into an actual edible dinner.
Yeah, like my noodles were sticking together. Like the fucking noodles were in the pot. Like I added no salt to the fucking boiling water, so the noodles were just like you just pull out like a clump of noodles that are just stuck together. It was a mess. And she just came in and saved it. And that type of thing, just like seeing how quickly a woman's brain can just be like, you guys are idiots. Let me just do this. And she just did it. And it was fantastic. It was one of the best meals I've ever had. So I think about stuff like that. And then that car seat moment is also one of those things. Like, look at these 3 guys, one of them being the smartest person in the entire verse and struggling to get a car seat in. I like that. One part, though, about the movie that I thought that made me annoyed with Reed Richards and how somebody so smart could be so dumb. And this is a common thing, so I don't really hold this against them, because just because you're super, super, super intelligent doesn't mean that you don't do dumb things, because common sense is a completely different thing. Galactus demands the baby. There's a press conference. What does he want? Why does Reed Richards tell the entire planet he wants my baby Why would
that was crazy.
You just you just didn't have to say that. There was when he said that, I looked at my friend, I was like, this guy's a fucking idiot. And my friend was like, come on. Like, why would you say Galactus specifically wants my child? You could have told them literally you're the smartest man on the planet. You would have told them literally anything else. I mean, anything else. I was like, oh, this is going to go over so well. This is going to go over so well.
Yeah, that turned people got crazy. It's funny, because I guess that, the argument could be like, that's like the goodness in him that's still there, that he's like honest and doesn't want to lie to these people.
Yep.
But it was just like, holy shit, I can't believe. Like, I would have just been like, hey guys, like, we didn't beat them yet, but like, we're going back.
Yeah,
like,
we're
don't
working.
worry,
Yeah.
we got it. Like, we slowed them down. Don't you worry. Like, we're still working on it. We're still the Fantastic Four. But yeah, that was crazy. Because then the whole world turned into fucking Squid Games, and they were like, kill that baby. And they were like, kill that fucking baby. Which, in this instance, makes a lot more sense, because once again, the gripe with Squid Game was that nobody's life was on the line.
Yeah.
They could have just left with $3 million each. In this instance, the entire planet is going to get destroyed. So it's like, hey, if one baby's got to die for the whole planet to be saved, kill the baby.
And that's a normal human reaction too. I think everybody on the planet, for the most part, except like fake religious people, would be down for that. Like, pretty much everyone on the planet would be like, yeah, I mean, I know it sucks, but no shade. Y'all can make another baby, for one, even though they do have a problem making babies. But you guys can make another baby. You did it once. You can do it again. You guys are not like fucking 78 years old. It's like, she's still a young woman.
Even if you tell them, hey, he wants our baby, or he's still going to destroy the planet, you do this. You tell them, fine. But you go, hey guys, don't forget, we're the fucking Fantastic Four. We're not going to let them we're not going to let them touch our baby. We're not going to let them touch you. We're going to get, like, we're going to figure it out. We're like, you let them know. And then you position it right. It's all politics. You go, can you believe how crazy it is? Right. He wants to eat our baby. Like, you go, how evil and crazy. We're going to solve this shit.
And that's what Sue,
you just frame it differently.
That's what Sue ended up doing too. She like brought Franklin outside, let the whole world see Franklin is just literally a fucking baby. And shows, and then the whole world, they get sympathy. But at first, when they don't even see the child, and you're just saying like one child versus literally 6 billion people, it sounds crazy. It just sounds like this is not even up for debate, right? Like, are we really thinking about this? Like, I know what we're asking is diabolical, but at the same time, consider just like every moral or ethical standpoint. This is not even up for debate, honestly.
You know what's interesting too? I didn't think about it until right now because I used the word politics. But what's interesting too with Reed Richards is that he's sometimes, have you guys ever seen this? Somebody's so smart, they're stupid. They're so smart, they just understand things. And he wants to kill our baby. And I don't know. But like, he's so smart that he doesn't think of the politics of it. He's like, hey, this is just what happened. And then once again, like, he thinks of the worst thing and what the mathematical best solution is and how he can stop it, etc. Susan Storm, set up from the beginning of the movie, is a politician. She's the reason why they made peace with the Mole Man. She works on like the United Nations. She talks to all. So Sue Storm is actually the politician in all of this. She might not be as smart as Reed, but she has more social skills than Reed does.
Yeah.
So it actually makes a lot of sense that she's the one that comes out and essentially plays politics, where she gets everybody to embrace the baby and embrace the Fantastic Four again and kind of let down and embrace it all. Even though nothing really changed, she just changed the vision on it. She, changed the story, changed the scoop, and now it completely flipped the script on everybody and nobody wanted to kill the baby in.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. I like the way they did that whole thing with her being the one that, takes the baby outside and is like, look, I have a child. I do not want to sacrifice my child. This is my child. It's a regular ass kid as far as we know. And you guys are going to have a harder time demanding the death of this baby when I show it to you, which is, that is also a real thing. Like, gain sympathy, smart thing to do. Love that. In terms of, I'm trying to think of other things. I remember the scene with the thing walking down the alleyway and those two guys ran past and said, we want to live too. And I thought that scene was just kind of funny. Like, the two guys just running. Like, why were they looked like they were robbing a place, first of all.
Yeah.
They look like they just robbed the store.
They're up to no good.
Yeah, it looked like they just robbed the store and they happened to be running down a fucking alleyway. And they were like, we want to live too. And that's all they said. And then the thing just kind of like turns its head a little bit. And I was like, would I have just splatted one of their heads against the wall in that moment? Or would I just let them go?
Oh, no.
Right, because then it becomes... then it becomes something. It becomes a horror movie, right?
Yeah, then it's the boys.
The dark thing.
Like,
yeah, the dark thing. But yeah, I don't know. I just
the dark thing.
Yeah, I thought that was just a crazy scene.
Shaquille O'Neal. All right, I'm sorry.
The egg teleportation machine. I think we pretty much covered everything, though. Like we spoke 2 hours on all different topics.
It was cool.
Mostly Fantastic Four.
It was cool that like he was basically like, we're going to teleport the planet. And then Johnny is like, you're an idiot. I get that you're smart, but you're an idiot. You fucking moved an egg across the room.
Right.
Like, and then Reed goes like, it works. Like,
yeah, like works. Factually it does.
Now the problem is just scale. Like the concept is now the same. We figured out the thing. Now we just have to make it work bigger. And we just have to increase the scale of it. He was like, but the concept works. So I thought that was really cool. And they didn't do, I was expecting like when he teleported the egg, I was expecting him to like pick up the egg and then like it would break into like green goop or something. You know what I mean?
Too.
Like it would like destabilize its molecules. And like it didn't do that. So
I was waiting every time the egg got teleported. I thought that it was going to show up wrong. Something really bad was going to happen when the egg moved from one place. I thought it was going to splat and just like turn into yolk or whatever, you know, like anything. I thought anything bad was going to happen to it, but nothing bad happened. And it was like, oh, this just fully works. Like it just, at no point was there any issue with the teleportation. So I was like, okay, I guess we just accepted that. He's just that, Reed is that guy. He's him.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we covered a lot. Like you said earlier, we're not here to do a book report. The movie was good. And we're just talking about a bunch of different things that we like about it, as well as the side tangents that takes us down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think that's everything. I'm happy that apparently Mr. Fantastic is going to be leading the Avengers in Doomsday. Like he is supposed to be the Captain America for that going into it. So like,
yeah,
I was about to call him Joel.
That's funny. I was thinking that too, is that like, I haven't watched a bunch of these movies. I don't know what path I don't know who the Avengers are. Do we have Avengers?
I don't know either
right now. I don't know. Is this movie essentially the assembling? Yeah, like how we had the first Avengers movie that brought them together. Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor. They all had their own movies, and then they got brought together in the Avengers, and that was the first time they were brought together as the Avengers. I wonder if this Avengers movie is that for the new Avengers, because I don't know if they have an Avengers team made right now. Like I don't know right now if you watch a Marvel movie before this one, if there's like an Avengers team that exists. I don't know.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know either, but I'm excited to see the next couple Marvel movies that lead up to Doomsday, if there are going to be more before that. And I'm excited to see Doctor Doom, and I hope they do right by him. I hope that Doctor Doom is absolutely OD. I'm hoping for another villain win, because I think what made Infinity War, to me, the best Marvel movie overall is the fact that, like, Thanos won is a big part of why I think that movie's so good. And you went from seeing literally every movie leading up to that, the good guys won. So it almost kind of like is that subversion thing. No one expected them to lose, really, going into it. Like going into it, no one expected they're just going to lose. Like they're actually going to flat out not win. And it started off with him beating the Hulk with fisticuffs. Like he beat
the shit out of the Hulk.
That was he beat the Hulk so bad that he wouldn't transform for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of him.
He was like he won't. He tried to transform.
Blue chew. Like he could not get it up. After
he said Hulk scared. Like Hulk wouldn't come out.
Oh God.
Anyway, we're getting out of here, guys. I'm gonna read out the names on these Patreon. Thank you guys so much for your support. Don't forget August 16th. We have our 1K coming up. A lot of people have been asking about that tournament because we are now 10 days away, which is crazy. Today is the 6th that we're recording this. So we're 10 days away from the 1K. And there are, I think I counted exactly 120 people are in the party member or higher tier in our Discord server. So yeah, the only and obviously not everyone's going to play. Everyone, people have obligations and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is you have a chance to compete against a max of 100 people for $1,000 prize pool, which is actually really good odds because if the pool, let's say a tournament only gets like 40 people, which is like very realistic that it could just be like a 40-person tournament. $1,000 prize pool split between 40 people, obviously the winner takes most. That is really, really good odds. Like you don't usually get to play for a 1K where the pool is like basically a local level, like a local size tournament that has literally $1,000 on the line. That's not a normal thing. So I'm saying all to say, you definitely should consider entering if you're not considering it right now, especially if you are in the party member or higher tier. It literally is free. You already paid for it basically. So you might as well just get some benefit outside of, the exclusive videos we do every month and stuff like that, exclusive podcasts. You should use it. And I just want to encourage everybody listening to try to enter that tournament on the 16th. Anyway, we have Volvi and the Golden Hyman, Nova Leo, Quest, Xavier Swift, This Ain't God, This is Stanley Earl, Hanging with Epstein, Mr. Fantastic, Omri Reynolds, Vince, Dallas Bailey, KJ, How Much Media You Got, Sarah Maria, Alex Ahern, FT Campa, Edison Club, Big Bora, Grok, Sugal, Vicky Venomon, Elijah Barfault, Tyler Tadeo, Volvi the Mega Monarch, Doom, Doom, Janitor 215, Joshua Carroll, Eric Chai, Brian Moore. Boyd Hack this also get Frazier some Greffer pants. Okay. Not Greffer pants. I feel like Greffer's wearing fucking chaps. But which I was looking for chaps before the Beyonce concert because I got the cowboy hat, I had the cowboy vest. I was looking for some chaps, but yo, chaps are randomly expensive. Like they're randomly expensive, and I just was not willing to pay like $250 for a nice pair of chaps. So I just passed.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, Gingerilla.
Not pants not being all the way made, costing more.
Right. You would think that fucking pants with cutouts with gigantic gaping holes in them would not be more than just fucking Levi's, but here we are. Anyway, Gingerilla, and then we have
Tim Bailey, Ride or Dies, Taco Bell.
Damn.
Majin Labubu. Yeah, that's wild. I'm assuming that's a reference to the story I told about us going to Taco Bell. It was a 45-minute walk, and I wanted to smack my friend across the face. That was funny. Tim Bailey, if you walk in 45 minutes for Taco Bell, you got it. You have all of it. Then we have Majin Labubu. This also I was made aware of as a quick side note. Maybe this is still that reference. I don't know. I thought that this was like a weird reference between like Majin Buu and Lejin Genie of the Lamp. I thought it was like Majin Labubu.
You didn't know
I didn't know that like
Labubus
were like some fucking random trendy thing that everybody was on. So yeah. Anyway, I just realized that recently. So then B Dog 23, Hershey Bar, and Boyster, Tyler Frazier, Sasha Egger, Daniel Anderson, Daroa. Ass to mattress sleeping is goated. You're crazy. What is happening at the back half of these? Y'all need to be stopped.
Yep.
Okay, this is insane. Jordan Eastman, Robert Light, Clanger, HT19, Gregory Calmaring. No, Big Dog, no. Mike and John Frago, Anthony Japov, Michael Zhang, Tim Pontes, Tyler, Chris Louis, Luis Juarez, The Hopeless One, Choo Choo Train, Raj, Chris Kemp, Dustin Wallace, James McGregor, Thu, Michael Gray, Blacks Mail, Trace Kaminga, and John K.
All right. Again, guys, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you. And again, August 16th, 1K Edison tournament coming up. And we have some more surprises for people in the party member higher tier coming up as well. So just be on the lookout for that. And as always, guys, do the things that make you happy, including enjoying Fantastic Four, which is a Marvel movie. And I haven't enjoyed one of those in a long time. Peace.
Same.